Welcome to the Afternoon Rundown, the show where you decide what we talk about every day. Neil and Sean locked and loaded. They're ready to look at the tickers as decided by you. So make sure to join Adair and I on the Midday How to Trade show and get your vote in the chat there. There is the triple Q. Still, we're definitely not near those July 12th highs, but another positive day for the triple Qs. We started that recovery on Friday, continuing today. The ES and the NQ both in positive territory. The opposite of the Dow and the Russell. The Russell down below 1% today as it really caught a bid after that sell-off in tech. So we'll keep an eye on this. Up 0.4 right now is the triple Qs. AMD, the first one as selected by you guys, a little zig, a little zag. This one was a positive at times, negative at times. Barclays chiming in on this one today, maintaining their overweight rating, but dropping the price target down to 180, guys. Chips have been mixed today.
Barclays hating on the chip. No, just look, we obviously have earnings coming from AMD tomorrow after market. I feel like that's the reason, it's going to make the top of the list here. Pretty weak day on AMD. I actually started bullish on this stock, even though I don't have a long position. Ended up much better in other names. We'll get to ARM and NVIDIA, maybe when we talk about NVIDIA and OM. But it's all about the chips. I had this one for a 143 level. Let's go back over here to see why 143. So Friday, 142.5 was resistance. Thursday, 143 was resistance. So I thought if this thing breaks out above 143, it could really rally. Instead, it failed to break. Came right back in, showing the weakness that we've seen in NVIDIA or in AMD the last little bit. I had some scalp shorts. It came back into VWAP, wicked me out right in here before it started to really turn to the downside. That's when you had ARM and NVIDIA really fall apart. ARM, thankfully, we're in the short for that one, but missed out on the VWAP retracement. I think this afternoon, you're under 143. You're trend down overall on the day, still putting in lower highs on the daily. The other bad thing about AMD is you're underneath the 200 period moving average. You're underneath the May low. There's not much to like unless it had held on to that 143 level. So with that, I think it's a VWAP retrace this afternoon. Just got to be able to hold on for dear life. So much pressure AMD has been under. And I think a lot of people forget about this because you look at the chart of NVIDIA on a daily and how strong it is. But I mean, AMD has been more expensive. Most of this AI rally from a PE basis, AMD's actually been the pricier one a lot of this rally, and that's why it's getting punished a lot of times as harshly as it is. Still green on the day. As weak as that chart looks, it's actually up more than the NASDAQ, believe it or not.
Yeah, actually, I was looking at this right now,
Surprising.
0.31. The NASDAQ is starting to come right back in. We only have one trade on. Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the jungle. We're back. Oh, I could take a fill here to show you guys because I still have some decent amount of shares on right now. We're in SOX L right here. Let me see if we can get a fill. There it is. So there it goes. All right, we're over $1 right now in the money. On SOX. I know it's like every time we come back, it's like, what is going on? But there's the real trade. We actually talked about this live on the Midday show. And then my only AMD trade was actually also live on the Midday show. And this is another good one. Although we are going to be red on NVIDIA. We'll talk about that. AMD was great against this 142. I let it go when we broke this level. So again, we were short 142.75. We get out for flat. But at the meantime, we still do wind up taking $1 on that move as well right there. So, I mean, today's going to be a really good day for trading, and you're going to see that as we go over the next couple names coming through. But I did not trade ON. Neil did. We'll talk about that when we get back from Sharif.
12 1/3 or 2/3 here, Sean. What a move up for On Semi. Big move up this morning as they reported earnings beating revenue, beating EPS on the top and bottom lines, and really highlighting the areas where they're doing quite well. Good automotive look for them as PCs continue to suffer from cyclicality. So have to keep an eye on this one. Neil, though, how'd you trade it?
So if you remember, like when Obi and I have been on, at least recently, a lot of the trades that if you don't have the trend to the upside, I've been looking for like one of these like reversion trades. And I'll get to Disney probably because it's a very similar concept to where things went wrong for ON. So ON Semi, big break. I'll go to the daily chart first. Big breakout. when it broke 70, 200 period, 50 period, all in the same day. Got to 79 up top here on the daily chart, all of it looking pretty good. I first went dip buy into 79. That didn't work. I'm like, okay, if it breaks this, we actually left you saying if it got to VWAP on that move, we'll just dip buy VWAP, which would come all the way. Did not trade it till that point. 79 on the daily, took it for about 25 cents worth of risks. That wasn't bad, but wanted it back into VWAP at that point, never got it. When it finally made it to VWAP, it was breaking trend. So if you look at this one from the pre-market, even if I slap the other trend on it, like this trend up here from the open, you broke that. And that's the reason we get out here, and then the reason I went into a short. Now, obviously, it kind of held on to the top of the trend line while breaking out of VWAP, but I'm not going to sit there in a short at like 78.50 on a strong stock and give it all the way to $80 just because there happens to be a trend line going with it. So it did hold the trend in terms of no longer breaking back above what it was, but hold on to VWAP, super strong name. I don't necessarily have a trade for this in the afternoon unless you like a VWAP bounce on ON Semi. But much like 3M on Friday, this was the one that just the early break on earnings. McDonald's did this as well, GE a couple of days ago. And then when it right at the open, the first available dip, the next available even dollar level, tried to break out that trend line, no continuation whatsoever. Super, super strong name, ON Semi. I think this will be a good one for some continuation tomorrow, especially before you get those AMD earnings. Because once you get the AMD earnings, it's going to be about AMD.
Yeah, tough trade there on ON. Yeah, I didn't look at it, so back to Sharif.
All right, Sean, we'll go to the next one, NVIDIA. I know you looked at this one. So a couple of different headlines today with NVIDIA. Jensen Huang expected to speak initially at 4:30 at the SIGGRAPH conference. That's essentially a conference for computer graphics enthusiasts. And at 6 o'clock, he's going to be sitting down with Mark Zuckerberg. So that's going to be really interesting to see there because Meta is one of the biggest purchasers of their GPUs. There's this headline as well, reportedly developing a new version of its flagship AI for the Chinese market. We know that the Biden administration has been putting in these embargoes. NVIDIA looking to get around it by exporting a B20 version of their Blackwell chip, guys.
For me, NVIDIA was, it was a name that we had written down on here. It will be my only red name today. We have one red name today, so not good, but that's fine. Like Neil just mentioned, sometimes you make a trade, it doesn't work out. And this one we did that, but we didn't follow our rules. We were waiting for 111. With big tech earnings on deck, NVIDIA should get some love on these calls. Dip buys, right? Well, it was good early, and then we lost it once it finally broke. So we could just break this down. Getting involved here, I kind of felt like we were coming back. That must have been VWAP or something, why we would buy 115.40. But we were playing against VWAP. Then we start to break below 115, and we kind of get out of the way, but then it comes back into the 200 period. And not only that, remember I talked about this? I was like, if we were here on Friday, I don't remember what the name, I don't know if it was ARM or what it was. We were just going to go back. Oh, it was Tesla. Back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. That trade is great until it fails. And then so right there, it comes down to the 200 period and we get out of the way. But again, when you're trading bigger size and you lose even 15 or 20 pennies, it's enough to put you red, especially when you just scalped out of some of them. So yeah, NVIDIA not great, but again, what did we write down? Just stick with what you're doing. NVIDIA long right there, 111. We wrote it down. It's right here, 111, 111. The low of the day on NVIDIA. And again, Sharif was right. We went down and grabbed our passports. Low of the day, 111.50 right there. So, you call the bottom, but you don't have it, so it don't really matter. But right there, 112 right now is where this player is dwelling. I'm going to try to go long again down here at this bottom and just make it sing. Because the thing is, we're already short SOXL right now. SOXL, just by putting this trade on, it's already P&L like 2 or 3. ARM is not... ARM. Oh, wow. I should have talked about ARM when you talked about ON Semi. This name is a banger name right here. ARM today, man, we called that at 150. Neil had this as well. It's a big, huge trade, ARM there. But this is proper risk management, man. It's like you take it, you wait for it. We didn't take it out the bottom. We did get out, I guess, when it broke there, 142. But again, you know, would have liked to got out at the 50 period. Cost ourselves about $2 or $3 there on ARM, but this was a monster, man. 150. We yelled this out at the beginning of the day. So when it prints, man, there's no surprise that ARM gives you this trade there today. This stock, I like. I actually like this for another reload short too, if we can get to 144 right now. SOX L, still that dollar in the money. We're going to wait to see if NVIDIA comes a little bit lower right now. So that's my talk of NVIDIA. We're going to buy this dip in front of 111. But cautiously as the market pulls back.
Yeah, double. So this 111, just if you haven't pulled it back all the way to Thursday, it's not just Friday's low. It was like that close area. If we lose that, I don't think you got much left going on Nvidia. There was a seller at 115, and obviously any chip name you had at that moment was going to the downside. ARM was probably the biggest mover, I think, in terms of dollar move and percentage move, at least from what I checked. But NVIDIA very clearly was a 115 seller. I dumped out there and did not flip, but looking pretty nasty. There's only one spot. It is this low double bottom. If NVIDIA doesn't keep this, I think it's in trouble. I do have eyes on one other name here. Intel sucks. VWAP double tapped already. He's been holding VWAP all afternoon. I'm just sort of saying. All these things are trending down. This is just adjacent to a VWAP move if it gets back into the bounce. See how tightly it's been holding it pretty much all day long. So I have some semis other than NVIDIA that could give you that VWAP retracement. I don't think NVIDIA is getting there.
Morgan Stanley giving Tesla the nod today, adding it to its top pick list. A few reasons, some of them basically de-risking away from China. A smaller portion of the revenue now comes out of China. They also like the product diversity, not just focusing on cars, but really focusing on self-driving, Optimus, some other things, storage capacity for solar as well. And they think it's a better financial position as they were able to shore up some costs. We know that layoffs were an issue there. They have also put the Monterrey facility, the Gigafactory being built in Mexico there, on hold for a moment. There's also this analyst analysis today about basically the self-driving that we're going to get word of in October. Keep an eye out for that. That got delayed from August to October, guys.
All right. Glad to be back. Glad to have given this trade. Sucks not to have been here for this. So there's Tesla. We wrote this down, a little bit of cheese action in our ear there. I like that. Welcome to Packer Nation, my guy. All right, so as we go down here. Yeah, geez, yeah, getting that paid right now. Same.
There's a 201, I don't know about that.
Same, yeah, I mean, all these guys are jokers, right? I mean, the highest paid guys right now, Tua, Burrow, Jordan Love, I mean, Dak will probably be the number one guy. No, Dak will be the number one guy in probably in a week. And so let's talk about that. All right, so there it is right now. The next contract that gets signed will be the biggest. That's how it works, right? All right, so right there, 227.10 came into play. But look, this is the number one P&L name for a reason. It's because we believe in it and you put on shares. Like, I don't feel bad saying that. Like, that's what we do. And maybe we sound like a broken record, but if you don't take trades where you like them, you don't put on risk, then yeah, that you're not going to have the big trades. And this is a big trade. So all the way up, we get out at 230. That's a good trade, man. And there it is. We like that 228 break. It's a nice break from here. We talked about that little level this morning. It is your number one trade idea over here on this stick. You know what I mean? You guys watch this show for ideas and for winning trades and hopefully for other things as well. But if you're looking for that, there it is. It's your number one trade breakout here. If you want to read it. From this level, upgrade from Morgan Stanley. It's why we're looking at it. It can really fly if it breaks. So it does that. It goes upside, and now it's a big trade. So that's Tesla. I really think that Tesla is an amazing stock to trade, especially when we get those catalysts. And I mean, we know it can really get going. I mean, we have the biggest trade of the day on a stock that was up $6 when we punched it. So, I mean, we missed the break of the pre-market. That's the best trade around. But after that, man, it's pretty easy does it on Tesla. This stock never went against us. Huge upside move. And there it goes right now. It was a 228 fill. And that last piece out on our last 10% is 232. So it's only 450. The ARM trade was bigger, but this one had bigger net. So more money made on Tesla, but very, very similar to the ARM trade. So that's what it is. I mean, it's a good one there. It's Tesla. It continues to fly high. And I like it, man. Again, a nice replay back from their lows, coming back in, trying to fill that gap. Next stop, 240, and we'll trade it off of that. But hey, man, it's Tesla, and it was a doozy right there today.
I almost feel remiss mentioning this because I think it's going to be the jinx. I don't believe in the golden cross or the whatever you call it, the death cross. Not a huge fan of either one, but Tesla's going to do that with any kind of push up and a strong close in here today. If it holds this 5%, you're going to get that. What's more interesting to me is this keeps on disappearing. It's kind of a dirty, it's a loosely drawn trend line, but you remember that top end of the trend. Tesla basically came in, attempted to break down underneath the previous trend, held on to the 200 and the 50, and now breaking back higher. So I think as long as this is holding the 220 level, it's about 220, 225 in here. This is going to look pretty strong. So you dip right back into that previous trend top. Looks pretty good. For the record, there was a hot moment where Tesla was at the high and Rivian was at the low. And I like relative strength and weakness. In that moment, I was like, okay, look, if Rivian's just doing this when Tesla's going up, I'm going to join the trend on Rivian. Didn't notice until it got down to 16. This double bottom off 16 even bounced twice. Not 1601, not 1602. Like 16 even bounced twice. I had one short 1610, but all of a sudden this 16's holding pretty good back here on Rivian. And this is the difference between Rivian and Tesla. Rivian hasn't broken this trend to the upside. So it's caught a higher low here at 16 and suddenly looks pretty decent. That top of the trend is starting to converge with $19. So if Tesla's dragging everyone to the upside, we're not there yet. You're still a couple of points away. But if this converges to the point where you have a higher low going into a 19 break and then this trend line up top on Rivian, yeah, that's a break that I'm going to want to be involved in. For now, I think it's still a short to pop at 17 even. Nothing really changed with that here today. Just note the fact that none of the other EVs decided to go for the ride with Tesla. At least none of the ones I looked at. Rivian's up 0.2%, but I mean overall it was still a downward trend because it did gap up. Sharif?
The best day for Google so far since over here, that is when we got the Search GPT headline coming out of OpenAI and its association with Microsoft, and that's what Google did. Still haven't obviously recovered anywhere near where we were, but a good day for second strongest name in Mag 7 world today. There was a minor headline. Phillips Securities, not an analyst rating agency that I'm too familiar with, upgrading Google there to about $210 price target and changing the rating from accumulate to buy. Again, not a rating that I had eyes on. Good day for Google though, guys.
Accumulate. Yeah, I never heard that either. Yeah, whatever. It doesn't really, I mean, it doesn't, look, every rating, they just have their different levels, so it goes from one to the other. Is it up or is it down? I feel like you probably just do that to differentiate yourself from everyone else and then get people talking about it. So congratulations, because it worked for a hot minute. I didn't trade Alphabet today. That said, I think I like what I see on the daily, at least going into this, I guess, gauntlet of earnings is the best way to put it. Like you came right back into where the big break happened in April, held on to like 160, the low 160s, kind of a weak day two after making this bottom. Like you see a hold of low 160s, a decent higher low, but all kinds of resistance at this 170. This looks pretty good if we get above 170 and a half, try and fill this $2 or $3 gap in. But very, very tight range, and it plays both ways. So let's talk about the day trade. It plays both ways. Like it looks like if it were to break out that top, it looks good. But you're starting to see, the head and shoulders into a flat bottom at 169.5. And if we lose this, the market goes red. I just see potential like flat bottom break into the downside. I'm in Palantir, which was not a good long this morning. Had the long off 27 quarter, didn't work. Had the long off at 27, started to go, didn't work. Then it came into VWAP. VWAP here. Now it's starting to head back into the downside. That's bouncing off 27 even. So we're just trying to get back what we lost here, noting a 27 even is holding. If 27 loses it here on Palantir, just looking to see where the bid picks back up. Like I'm not bidding until I see either we bounce off 27 convincingly, get past the 10s or so, or you break 27 and just see where the chips end up lying here on PLTR. They report, like we said at the end of the month, Palantir. No, it's next week on August 5th. Yeah, but if it gets back to VWAP, I'll be definitely taking some out if it breaks 27.10, and then look for a reload off of VWAP up there.
All right, I didn't. I just saw what Neil was in Disney here, and I was looking at it as well. It did break through our 92 level. We had 92 written down as possible shorts for that. So I was looking about this 92.60 area, which was the high of the day, possibly looking to short Disney up there. I was looking for some short ideas. Google, we're still short SOXL, and I'm close I mean, I guess we have to do this. I was close to looking at the TQQs right now, the futures for a potential long right now. So that could come into play as well. But yeah, Google, man, buying the dips. You guys know that. I was talking about buying the dips here the last couple of days. So this is the largest holding in my portfolio. I don't like any stuff that's happening with it right now. I don't like that search GPT stuff. I don't really like any of that. But that's too bad. It's a nice move down. What are you going to do? Wasn't able to buy anything down here at 160. We did buy into this dip, though. So they missed on earnings. We didn't get it the first day. We got it the second day. So I'd have to look to see where. It's in and around here somewhere. But not a good move there for Google off earnings. Broke through the 50-period moving average and kind of continuing to go lower. I'd like to take some out, but I don't want to take anything out underneath the 50-period. Maybe it's time to buy it back. I feel that this is in a little bit of trouble just because some of the stories aren't the greatest, like what I was just talking about. But again, their quarter was pretty good. Let's see if Meta, what they talk about with their advertising and how strong this consumer is when we hear from Amazon. So we'll wait to hear about Google. I mean, the Pixel's not a huge revenue driver or anything for them either. So not too worried about that kind of side of things. We continue to look at search as a problem, as AI. But they'll figure it out, right? I mean, they still have Gemini and all that stuff. It's not... they'll get it going. Yeah, they have lots of levers to be pulled. So I still like this stock, but not as much potentially. Thank you for all those votes. Try to vote more. More people voting, more on that. Let's make that as popular as we possibly can. All right, so I'm just looking at this. You came back in with the TQs here or the futures, whatever you want to look at. You're back at the 50-period moving average. No matter what you're looking at here, that's been pretty key, right? And so here's a move down. We're trying to hold it. So if you want to get back upside, I think 67's a play, but for sure, because that's been the last couple days. But until then, man, we'll have to look here, 65.50, where we're at right now on the TQs. I chose SOXL to go, and now SOXL, of course, dollar on SOXL, so that's going to be a good trade coming through. It's a tough day, man. We have 3 positive traders here on the floor. It's a little tough heading into the day, into the close. Just pick your poison, man. There's going to be lots of opportunities. You just got to find them. And if you can, then you want to hit them and hold on and see if your sort of thesis plays, right? And I think that's something that's really important here as well. So again, a little slow into the summertime, see it. And Adara mentioned something about not wanting to trade too much past 1 o'clock. I think there is some importance to understanding levels of trading and what time are your best times. But I've never ran that study because for me, it doesn't really matter. I think it's more of a psychological thing, and I'll tell you why. Because if something sets up now, I'm going to take it. Like this SOXL trade, if I said it's 1 o'clock, therefore I'm not putting on this trade, it's set up, so I put it on, and right now it's P&L number 3. And we just put this on for an hour. I feel like there's different trading techniques that you can use during the day and during different hours. And that's what Adara was referring to for sure. Slowing down maybe and figuring out, what to expect. But at any given time, anything can really happen. I kind of feel like we have a lot of traders around here that maybe stay away from the open. Can be good, cannot be good, right? We missed that break in Tesla off the pre-market, and there's been some great trades in Nvidia and all that kind of stuff with pre-market low breaks and high breaks. So, if that's your game, you want to stay there as well. But especially when you're first learning, and pretty much like all traders here are pretty much learning, you can never stop in this business. And it's just like you want to make sure that you're able to take the right trades when they set up for you. So this to me is still a maximum position. it didn't matter the time of day. I like this SOXL trade. It was at the 50, at the 200, at VWAP, boom, 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 and bang, you know, all the way to the downside. So, yeah, I wanted to address that a little bit there because I think that that's important that you look at that. And I think what else is important too is that you run your own numbers, right? I mean, I think it's not like we're running like a lottery here, but you just want to make sure that you look at your numbers and figure it out. If you do make a lot of money at the close, you know, like there's traders around here that really don't make any money pretty much at all during the day and then hit the close. And that could be a big trade. You know, if that's consistent enough, then that's what you want to look at. And if you really hit off the open, you should hit off the open. If you're really hitting off of the closing 10 minutes off that imbalance, great. You know, there's so many different opportunities in this market, and that's really what keeps me here and keeps me interested. So, yeah, I just wanted to address that because, you know, even though it's 225, my biggest thing is like, oh, it's power hour. And it's like, okay. And I see it and I'm like, okay, let's go 3 o'clock power hour. And then it's like 3 is the same as 2, you know? So just understand, I think economic.
Depends on volume.
Yeah, I think that's a good one, volume. And as it dries down, and I was going to say too, economic releases, right? Like if Beige Book is at 2 o'clock.
Oh, like on Friday.
You know, yeah.
On Friday, this happens every now and then. Like on Friday, there was, the chips were all shorts on Friday.
Right.
Everybody knows that. There was like this short the pop VWAP thing happening on Nvidia, but right at 10 o'clock. I don't even remember which economic, it doesn't matter which economic number it was. You can look at the calendar. But like right at 10 o'clock, it popped into VWAP and it did that thing. It wicked you out and then went right back to the same pattern it was doing before. So that's what matters because all you had to do was know the number was coming out, maybe not sit there, wait for the number to come out and then jump right back into the trade that was working before. Instead, if you were shooting perfect on NVIDIA shorting VWAP, at that moment you lost one and then you had to get back into it. And that had everything to do with it wasn't the fact that it was 10 o'clock, it was the fact that the economic calendar just had something that moved the market. Sometimes you get the algos pulling quotes and an economic number, and until they come back in, you want to work and wait until the next trade. The other thing is things like this serve that everyone's talking about. Low float runners. Like for this time of day doesn't matter, volume matters. Like volume really matters for these. If you see on Friday, serve was running like crazy on Friday up until about noon, and then once it failed the high, declining volume the whole way. Now note the difference in volume today, where I guess the longs are having a heck of a lot more fun. It's not that it's doing huge volume, it's still doing less volume in the middle of the day. But you're holding up the volume spikes much, much better when it's retesting those highs as opposed to really, really declining volume. I did have one trade on serve at 18. That was it right here. It went to 18, it went to 17.97. I shorted it on the way back. It essentially went to 17.30 and then kind of stopped out break even, and you're seeing it trend higher. So if it does like a failed break of 19 or 20, ideally 20, that's probably where I would get involved this afternoon, just looking for an even dollar trade. I was not really on the stock at 19. That actually looks pretty good. So I'll wait around for 20 bucks here on serve. Palantir is just chilling at 27 even, trying to break down at this point, and we're looking for some VWAP retracement. I mean, the market, while up, still feels to me like it's lower highs from 9 o'clock, or sorry, well, from 9:30, 10 o'clock, 9 o'clock if you're looking at Chicago time. So I want to look for some VWAP retracements in here. Whether or not we get like an Intel, that's a possibility. This one could pop into VWAP for us. AMD maybe. NVIDIA seems rather unlikely, as weak as it is on NVIDIA. If anything, I mean, NVIDIA almost looks like it could be like a trend break back to the upside. Keep talking about when you have these steep trends, what happens when they break it out. NVIDIA kind of looks like that in the other direction. If it's good for a short, these are also good for explosive breakout longs as well. Might have a look at this for NVIDIA.
All right. I'm searching, I'm asking Gemini here. I need some more drills for tonight here. I got some fielding drills. I got a funnel ball, which is pretty good. You got to get the kids to hit kind of like in a funnel area there where they can't hit outside the zone. You get guys standing like around the pitching and try to hit it that way. I think.
Have you ever tried, well, there's like a game that, it's kind of a game. I had an old coach that would do this. Like basically every position position's like a number. You can make it easier, make like an area a number, and then you tell the batter if you're doing soft toss or something simple, you're trying to get them to hit to that area. But you don't say shortstop. Like you say like It's like 5,
Right.
2,
Yeah.
like that can be kind of
might
cool.
confuse my kids, but yeah.
If you have different colored balls, a really good one is, and this is like
you catch the white one, you throw them at them, and you catch.
yeah,
the
it's like
one.
catch the colored balls. Really good for tracking. I love that. But I tried that with Erin. She's like 7. It's like that. It's kind of
that's hand-eye coordination.
It's a little too early for my daughter.
Yeah, that's
which is fine. She got frustrated. She's like, I feel like it's okay. You're 7. I wasn't doing that drill till I was like 12 or 13 years old. So. Yeah. But I'm pretty sure that like your girls could probably handle that one.
Yeah, probably. These girls are something else. Eerie Pages, there are Airy Pages wanted to ask about day trading for a living. I get in trouble sometimes if I speak too real about it, but if you put a question again in the chat, I can specifically answer it because I don't want to say the same thing I always say. So if you ask me more specifically, I could definitely handle that. And you can ask either of us. We'll talk about that for sure. All right, here comes SOXL right down into $42 again. This was one where we were just lucky enough to look for, not lucky. Sometimes you misuse those words. Fortunate, that's kind of like lucky too, isn't it? But anyways, it's just a matter of being able to sit down. And we had just got back. I got back in about 5 minutes within sitting down. We put on this AMD trade short because we went to VWAP. This was fine. I mean, actually, like this is still a good stock for us. We actually wound up making more on AMD than Mara here today. Mara's my third, or was one of the names that we barely got out of. Right there, we barely got some money out of Mara right here. I mean, look at this epic drop. I was actually talking about this with Pat. Huge move to the downside right there. Like it never broke 23. We had written down on here $23. I mean, sure, it's lucky. Just like we wrote down Coinbase 255. Oh yeah, I wasn't sure if you had left yet. So did you see my note about brisket as well? What day are you here? You're here all week.
I'm here all week.
Okay, good. Oh, you're okay. We're all here all week. Okay, I wasn't sure if you were here Friday. That's why I suggested Thursday. Right. So I did.
Yeah, we're not doing Friday because last time we said Friday, you weren't there.
Okay.
I'm just saying.
We could do Friday. No, but if you're here this Friday, confirm.
But he said he was here the last time, and then
I just don't want to. I mean, the people. I mean, you're dropping stuff like brisket around here, and I don't want to be playing around. Especially Neil. He didn't have it last time.
Every day is brisket.
I didn't get Taco Tuesday that one time.
Well, Taco Tuesday we got it. Yeah.
Friday.
That's true, Neil. Come on, man. We get tacos. But the brisket is the
brisket's a different story.
All right, so we'll talk about it tomorrow. But Thursday or Friday is brisket day. So, all right, good.
That's what we like to see.
All right, safe travels there, Randy. But what I was talking about with Mara was, again, we had it here on the sticky note, which now has some of my drills written on it that I'm doing. But here is the other sticky note right now. Pat will go get you a water. Pat, you want to go get Neil a water, my guy? There he goes. He probably is trading. Yeah. Hey, Pat, grab me one too, man. All right, man, there he goes. All right, oh yeah, by the way, so here's a real sticky note. We had Mara written down on here, hard to see, $23. It turns out that was the high, so we can talk about it, but at the end of the day, I wanted the long. And I mean, crypto today continues to get kicked, man, 67.3. It did have a 66 handle on it at one point, but Mara's still downside. And the reason why we liked Mara at $23 is pretty easy. When we missed this one, we were mad. And that's what I was talking to Pat about. It's like, this is the big trade that you have to have. So I just didn't want to miss it again. But it looks like the short turned it around. So if you're, by the way, wow, now this SOXL, man, shout out to Real Trading. Let's go. Let's floss this one off because SOXL continues to go to the downside. Anyways, if you're looking short, the short was there for Mara. I always say this, man, you got to feel comfortable in your own skin, as I hear new skin heading lower in my ear. But you got to trade what you know and know what you trade. And honestly, like looking at Bitcoin there was not looking at it enough early to know that it was getting faded pretty much once the market opened up, which would have given you that Mara short up there at $23. But that's a little bit of a hard take in there. So just again to talk about this because this is a banger right now. SOXL is actually ripping up the top right now for trade. So. Yeah, $42. We're sort of touched down here a little bit. There has been some nice support in and around there. 41.70. Thank you, our friend. Everyone loves Patrick, and maybe we'll get him back on one day if he wants to. 41.70 down here, I feel like is a good area. So we only have about 10% left. We try to do better on that, but again, good name here today. Trying to hold out for a push lower as the NASDAQ looks like it wants to turn red finally. So let's see, man. Under VWAP, under the 50 period. I'm only looking shorts here into the close.
Yeah, I'm favoring that, but Palantir's catching a slight bid after it broke 27. So, 27, I thought you break 27, market's going down, Palantir would just flush it. But that's not what's happening. Like, it just gets to sometimes even dollar levels are really good on Palantir. Today, not really doing much. If you just took it the first time it broke 27, I thought it was going to do that. Like, immediately lose the bid, go down like 10 pennies or so, and then come back to the upside. So if we get a VWAP retracement, I'll have a little bit left on just to see what happens. And if it breaks again, look for the 80s or 75s as a low. Otherwise, VWAP is going to be the play. What's holding above VWAP is Apple. Well, I mean, a few things probably are. But Apple just bounced off VWAP for a second time here since we opened the show, since 2 o'clock. So once, twice, 218, a bit of a level. Apple tried early, lost, had the double top in there, then had a VWAP retracement, which worked. So thankfully, it's been good, despite the fact that this is kind of a strong stock and I've only been short. I say it's strong, double bottom, higher low, same top, right? So overall, it's positive. It's green on the day. It's not like it's doing any better than the overall market. It's about the same. But we got away with it because with the early short, we're able to just take it out. Like, you have a level you're playing off of, it breaks, just jump out of the trade. Now VWAP looks pretty solid here on Apple if it's able to hold. And shout out to you, Coffee Trader. Yeah, the other thing I'm looking at, NVIDIA is not strong, but it was just this trend that it's trying to break. So if you look at, you can look at it from the top, but if you just put it from this like non-VWAP retracement, it's holding the same trend line. I think if it breaks out that trend line, I might just play like a quick little like scalp break and give it a tight stop to like because it'll break this at like 120, 112 quarter. So if it breaks that at 112 quarter, I don't want it like rejecting it. Maybe just give it a really tight stop on a trend break trade and see what happens there on NVIDIA. But right now it's just gliding toward that low on NVDA. So there's not going to be, if there's a VWAP retracement, there's a missed opportunity in a long on NVIDIA that we want to try to grab. And as we say that, the market's heading lower one more time. 19.2. I don't know if we're going to be able to stay green today. Looking for some other opportunities for shorts, just anything that's at VWAP or setting up pretty well. Like ARM is not doing much, but 143 looks pretty good for ARM. Like double top 143, VWAP 143. If that were there, we'd certainly like that. I haven't looked at Micron today, but that one, come on, low. There we go. Also downward trending. Going into these earnings for AMD, you have a lot of weak chip names. This could be a VWAP retrace if it gets there first. Keeping an open mind at whichever one's going to set up.
Double play drills. So I wrote those down there. I feel like we had some missed opportunities this weekend as we play. And I want to give again another big shout out to Royal York. Thank you so much for hosting such a great tournament there this weekend. As next up for us, hopefully Kentucky, as we'll probably get to there maybe next year with these girls as we go. And then here's my lovely daughter who actually won. There was 5 games. She won the MVP of one of the games, which was really nice to see, as he's our new first baseman right now. We didn't, this tournament, our strength is pitching, but Royal York plays rookie ball, and they were doing pitching machine. So our kids hit off the pitching machine for the first time. 3-run home run for this one right here. And I just get choked up. Like, it's amazing. And then today we go with a different team practicing with our house league team, which is this Red Jets. So we shout out to that. We're in second place right there. Here's my brother.
Maybe the Jets, but they got the right colors on.
Yeah, well, we move up to the Red Sox. So we got some Danny Jansen. Oh, that's what I meant to ask you about that. The Leafs start their fire sale. Here's my kids, by the way. And by the way, so my daughter, we just played 5 games in a row on the weekend. Today, she's at hockey camp all day, hockey practice 4 to 6, and then has to motor to baseball practice 6 to 8. So, yeah. Soprano salad is what we're having tonight. I meant to.
What the heck is a soprano salad?
Exactly. I wanted to tell that.
Does it have anything to do with the show?
Apparently it does. Okay. I'm going to find it out. Ramin not the other day, but last time I mentioned.
They ate it on the show, or it's an actual.
No, it's like an Italian thing. Hold on a second here. Yeah, so this is like what it is here.
If I go to Rome and order a soprano salad and
Rome?
Get laughed at,
I don't know about that. I don't know. I mean, when you go to Rome, yeah, there'd be lots of things there. Big Italian, here it is. Lettuce, tomato, celery, onion, pepperoncini. You get to put like a little bit of, there's some meats in here as well. This is called Big Italian salad, but anyways, it has olives in it. Anyways,
good.
no, it is really good. It's really good. But anyways, my wife was making that tonight, so I was just thinking about like what we're having for dinner. I don't know why that came up.
Soprano salad.
Again, soprano salad. Yeah, if you guys.
Who knew?
Yeah, who knew? Who knew at all? Yeah. Oh, yeah. Better off doing homework. What's up, Piper? You know, our kids here in Canada don't get homework. Isn't that strange? There's absolutely no homework. Like, so that's weird because they feel like everything you need to study needs to be done in school.
You know what's interesting?
It's absolutely wild.
My daughter's French immersion class, it was a
Yeah.
split 1-2.
Yeah.
They were actually giving them workbook stuff. And then parents were complaining.
Right, it's wild.
Complaining about it.
Wild.
So,
It's wild.
look, I'm not going to get, like, without getting into political, like, man,
It's not
I had homework
politics.
every damn day. I had homework every day growing up. Like, that was, you come home, and the best part about it was going through when I couldn't understand something, my pops would help me out with math, moms too as well. And you know, when daughter doesn't understand something, she'll come to us when she had her worksheets, and like that's what you got to do, man. Like you work, like why are we looking at the TV?
It says CNBC London because they're waiting for me to come. I didn't tell these guys to shut it down until I got there.
Why the heck is it shut down? Oh, I think I know why. You know what happens? I think
just told you why.
No, they did it's happened last time on the Olympics. When they go to show highlights or something of the Olympics, they have to then put that up if you're not whatever like entitled
in your
region to get it. So we're in Canada, we're not supposed to be able.
Like we don't even have Super Bowl ads. It's like
it's so
crazy.
silly.
So it's like whoever owns the rights, which I guess would be Rogers, because it's on Sportsnet and TSN. That's what I've been watching.
CBC
on CBC
has it as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
See, right now I have coaches messaging me about how we're going to afford to go to Kentucky. I don't think we are. All right, here goes StockSell.
Gotta get that sponsorship.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I get those sponsors going on here right now. All right, so nice move. I mean, are they watching the show?
Dude, sell
nice
chocolates. I'll buy all of the chocolates.
Yeah,
you know how I roll.
Yeah, I know.
Do that raffle you guys did last time.
That raffle was good. Yeah, thanks for sponsoring
That's
that.
what
That was.
Yo, I am a champion.
Trader TV Live is sponsoring actually.
I'll buy a lot of
The
chocolates.
helmets. They're sponsoring the helmets for the girls' hockey team. That's nice. You can be a little Trader TV Live sticker on there.
Do the baseball.
Hilarious. All right.
Baseball has helmets too. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Well, no, we should. Yeah.
If you don't wear a baseball helmet, you have a problem.
Yeah. I mean, that would be illegal to do that. But yeah, definitely wear helmets for sure. 100%. All right, let's look for some more trades here. Are you in something recently?
Apple VWAP is about to come in 218. I feel like that's the first thing. I want to short something at VWAP, but literally nothing is giving you a chance to short it into VWAP. So Apple may be bouncing here. Just looking for it to make a push. Like since I first called it up, it's just chilling here at the quarters, and I want to see it push down, give us a bounce. We'll bounce and go. Nvidia might get Curtis Cash saying Nvidia might get going. I mean, might is the operative word, but like. The first thing I did when we pulled up NVIDIA was draw trend line, say if it breaks trend line, I'm going long, and what is it doing? Nothing. It's just gliding lower and lower. So look, it's Apple and NVIDIA that I'm, like those are the two things that I'm looking at
did I just do?
For VWAP, and then a potential, I know NVIDIA is weak, but maybe a break of this trend line to the upside. Now it's looking like 112 would be the break here on NVDA, but it just keeps chilling further and further to said downside. I just want to see it break this trend.
All right, so I just went into NVIDIA. So let's see, we can take 15 cents immediately. We'll take 15 cents on about 20% of it. We just started this trade. Oh, as a matter, I was like, what the heck just happened? So I punched in, and then immediately I had a stop order because when I went for my Waco, by the way, I don't know if anybody has a relatively new passport. They are sick with it. The new passports are wicked awesome. I'll have to show it to you
I have
after.
one, because I just got mine.
It has it's like this red Canadian. It's really, really cool. It's much better than the older ones. Anyways, probably because I don't know if they're expensive or not. 10-year passport was only $180, 10 years. I think that's a pretty good price right there. I don't know. But anyways, so I got punched in and punched out immediately. So that's why that red is there. So I just punched straight back in. So what can happen if you don't trade responsibly? I had a bid down here if we broke 1150 to think about getting out, but we didn't have a long. So the minute I took a long, my trigger automatically triggered out because it wasn't 1150. We had an order higher than this that if it broke this way down, then we were to get out. So we're in and out of that, but we're back long. So we're long at 71 right now on NVIDIA. Let's props that trade up as here it goes. We'll see. There it is, out 87s. Let's go. We'll see if we can make it back, man. It's our only red name today. We're going long NVIDIA. We talked about this an hour ago or 44 minutes ago when we went live. You guys asked about NVIDIA. I said I'm going long down here. It's written down on the sticky note, which now has double play drills written on it. Is going long. Those of you asking, daughter 9 and played with 12-year-olds this, 9, son 12, but I'm talking all baseballs for 9 and 12. And the no homework thing is for both of them. My son goes, oh, it's because I got all the work done during school. Yeah, right. But anyways, nice move down there. And their report cards are stellar, so I don't know. But anyways, nice move to the upside right there on NVIDIA. We wrote down 111 is what we liked. And I mean, now that I look at it, I mean, this is why we wrote it down, is because over the last week or so, we only took it down once. And that was on wow that day. I mean, if anybody was here that day and remembers how insane that was. And it's funny because I was in there and Neil got a good fill on Meta. And I was like, I almost just in the middle of the show put a bid down here at 107 because I remember the last day I bought NVIDIA right before this dip down. So I was already long, like basically right here, 113, 114, thinking we did pretty good from a dip from 140 into a name that I know I want to get longer in. But at the same time, and I said this story to Fabian, I don't think you were here. I looked down at my NVIDIA and I just told this to Mateo the other day. And this is like not, a humble brag or anything. It's just how crazy some of these stocks went. I looked down and was up 638% on NVIDIA trades in my longer term portfolio. And I was like, huh? So I just said, all right, if this is going to dip down like 20% here, or whatever this move down was, we have a little bit of sort of leeway here to buy a couple more shares. You never want to, again, make your decisions based on, what's going on in the portfolio. But I really like the stock, and it just shows you about investing in things for the long term and believing not just in your stocks is what I'm trying to do here on the show, but holding something for longer term. And that's nothing. I mean, you guys probably out there have that trade. To go something up 6 times, I mean, NVIDIA was like $100 3 years ago, and it split at $1,400. So, I mean, that, that's the thing.
Yeah, let alone this recent run.
Right, and that's the story I told. We used to have this big guy here who was my bodyguard until he left, Peter. And anyways, this big, huge Greek guy, shout out to you, Peter. But anyways, I remember this guy was laughing. I said, man, I just bought NVIDIA at $100 because I'm mining crypto. I'm spending like hundreds of dollars on these GPUs. I have no idea. My son's setting up mining rigs in my basement. I said, I'm just going to buy some NVIDIA. And the guy literally was like, man, I can't believe you're buying this at $100. We've just come from like 30 and this and that. And I feel like that's part of it there. So and this was only 3 or 4 years ago, $100 to $1,400. Real quick.
What a stock.
Right there. So, and I was saying the same about Tesla.
Tesla.
Like there goes Bob, but there it is. 1,000% to Shakib. Shout out to you, Shakib, as we'll go Hydration Nation, one of the original members right there. I know you like Alibaba, but it will not be up 1,000%.
1,000% by 2028. Look, man,
I mean,
I
next
hope
presidential cycle.
I know a few of us hope that, but I don't think we're going to get 100.
I would love that.
We'd all love that. Anybody that's been holding Alibaba for quite some time, maybe let's make SoFi do that too, right?
That'd be nice.
So SoFi's they report tomorrow morning. SoFi, PayPal. Tomorrow morning, after market, we'll get
the market is tanking.
Now we're coming right back in. Okay, so Apple's pulling into VWAP. I usually bid like 22s, but it doesn't matter. Like it's holding VWAP for now. So I got some 21s. It's double tapped it. There's just not much happening, and then you finally see something which is holding around VWAP, and now the market wants to go down. So I'd like to see this get to the $0.50. That'd be fantastic in terms of finding some short opportunities. As I said, I liked Intel at VWAP. Maybe I should just like it at 31. I have an old line at 31 because it's an even dollar. I'm just going to get rid of it because it doesn't matter here today, which should always do. Like clean up lines on charts. Who cares at this point? So maybe this at 31 would be a bit of a short. It's looking for an opportunity on the south side. Apple VWAP looks good. I was saying Microsoft was strong earlier, but now this is even underneath VWAP and not looking as fantastic as it was before. If the market is going to bounce, Meta looks even worse than Microsoft. If Meta loses this bid. Meta was so strong in the middle of the day. It is bizarre. Like at lunchtime, Meta was like the strongest stock there was.
I was looking to short Meta too.
And now, when something is that strong and then reverses all the way, it feels like it should be a short. So I don't think we see VWAP in here. Previous bottom, 467. I think that area here, you already saw it wick once, maybe back into that level. If we're just not going to be bouncing and we're going to slowly trend to the downside, got to pick up some names. If we're not going to get VWAP, you have to look for alternative opportunities. So Meta at 467 looks like it could be one, given the reversal it did. I don't know what you call that, like an A-shaped recovery.
Yeah, maybe, yeah. N?
Like whatever that is, it was so strong. It was like program buying on Meta, and then it stopped, and now you're breaking underneath. So, yeah, reverse U. I don't know.
Who knows?
It's whatever it is, I consider it to be weak.
All right, let's props up a little bit for anybody dip buying NVIDIA. I mean, again, we talked about what we wanted to do right now. We're in the money again on this dip buy. We just bought some 1150s there. I don't, you know, this is the trade. I mean, I haven't gotten any out. You guys can see my positions as we go to the upside right now. 11.59 right now for NVIDIA. Waiting for something out to 69. See if we can take a dime on 5%. And then see if it goes back up. I mean, I would like to, and again, I talked about this because Adara mentioned, and I'm glad that she did, about changing up the style a little bit. You know, like if you're short, you're catching it right now. But when you're trading against the trend, especially now into the afternoon, this is where you just want to start stacking some stuff up when you're against the trend. When you are with the trend, you know, you can reload these positions or hold for more downside. So I really love the midday stuff that they talk about because it's teaching you guys things. But this is actually like real trading here where we're putting something on VWAP and then showing you how to profit from this, or at least how I am. I mean, it doesn't work all the time. We talk about that. We talked about NVIDIA not holding the bid earlier, which will be our red stock today. But just with very, very simple strategies, you know, AMD is a very positive stock today. ARM is a wicked stock today. The number one stock, I think, for both of us, ARM. Mara, again, a wicked stock as well, but just the other way. We were long. We're up on Mara, obviously, as you can see this. But we got out of the way before this happened as Bitcoin really slipped up a little bit there. So that's a pretty simple trade. NVIDIA right now, it lost its 114 and the 200 period there. We're able to get out of it. But whenever that happens to me, or whenever that happens to a stock that I'm looking at, I will lose on this trade. And again, this is know yourself. I will lose on this trade 100% of the time. When you base like this into the 200 period, I'm going long there every time if it's a stock that I like. Double play balls, which is what I like on that as well. So that's NVIDIA. And right now, it's the same thing's happening. We're in today's low here for NVDA. Oh, we did not get out yet. Oh, no, we did not get hit at 69. Okay, I thought we did. So what we're doing now is we're buying this day low, seeing if we can be a hero and let this go back up to the upside. If it does not, we have our spots where we're going to get out. And on the majority of this trade, we are not averaging in anymore. We took this down here against this bottom. If this bottom breaks, fine. This is not a big position. I want to try it again right down here at 111. We're going to try it at 111. That's going to be my breaking spot. Give me that. We still didn't get that at 69. That's not me with 4,000 shares. Dude, there it is. Do not worry about that one. As well, Hot Dog canning it up. We're at our highest spot today, but we're all about to get a lot happier when we find out what Adara's got to say over there at the desk.
Hi, Benzinga Pro. If you feel lost in the noise of the market, then you need Benzinga Pro. Benzinga Pro cuts through the clutter and gives you the insights you need to make smarter, faster trades. From real-time news to unusual options activity, we'll show you exactly what's moving the market and why. Don't miss out on your chance to trade like a pro. Visit benzinga.com/pro to start your free trial today.
Thank you very much, Adara. And if we hear anything, we'll let you know on our Benzinga Pro as well. There was a little something on that new, but not much movement there. I'm just mentioning ARM is another thing. It's a Super Bowl this week for earnings. ARM reports on Wednesday as well. It's just like NVIDIA comes third. AMD comes first tomorrow, aftermarket. But when ARM reports, I am this time, if we get the 200 period moving average, I'm determined to actually get back more shares into this stock. It's not crazy that you could see a couple of days pushing down into 105. We've seen it do crazy things multiple times here. I think it's got another chance, especially to the downside, expensive, all that good stuff. But I want to be dip buying on these earnings as long as things don't get completely out of hand. So we're going to look for that possibly on Wednesday. We'll see what happens. It's not moving this afternoon, but what is starting to go, let me go back over to Apple. It just wicked VWAP here. and then came right back up. So we added on the wick of VWAP, so now it's actually testing the 218. If we get up into the 30s, that's where we're sitting on the offer. Still looking for my chance to get a pop that I can short on Intel, but nothing just yet. Once we get it, we'll let you know. Like 31 looks pretty good. VWAP obviously looks pretty good as well, but just a bit of a dip on Apple. We just pick up some more. Let's go back to Adara.
Some news here potentially with regards to that dip on Apple. I have this article circulating here from Barron's just getting published at 2:50 p.m. saying that Berkshire Hathaway may have sold some more Apple stock. So again, speculation of further Apple sales here for BRKB. Keep an eye on AAPL. Mild volume uptick to the downside with regards to this report circulating of potential stock sales continuing from Berkshire Hathaway.
All right. Yeah, that's...
it was a decent volume spike, but it's just coming right back here.
Remember that story that he sold at, what, 190 or something like that? Good job. All right, so NVIDIA right here. So I just puff past that story. Honestly, what was it, Bloomberg reporting that? Okay, so 111.75. And if they sold, they sold. I mean, we don't know the reasons why. It could be tax reasons, could be anything. Like we said, I mean, I just sold some NVIDIA. That's probably not worth a price, not worth a press release, of course, right there. But as you go into that right now, there it is right there, 111.75. Another out for us on NVIDIA on these dip buy opportunities. So again, a quick one just about stacking. I mean, we won't make everything back that we lost on NVIDIA, but we've made back some right now as we start to go back up to the upside. So let's go NVIDIA. There it is, man. And again, this is like I said, I'm going to start to take some questions in the chat because I've put on these trades, man. Stock sell $1.30 in the money. There's NVIDIA. We just put it on. Now 25 cents in the money. I don't know. I mean, we're sitting here, we're trading, we're putting on the trades, and hopefully showing you that, yeah, man, this is possible. And, you know, that's trying to put that proof in the pudding, right? There are a lot of traders that pretend to be traders and some that are. I like to think that we are. And hopefully being able to prove that to you guys every single day by showing you live right here. So, all right. So thank you to Bears vs. Bulls here. The name is CRAP stock. So I won't say that word in case it does do something to our algo. Right now, thank you for that. Bears vs. Bulls says, what time of year? So we're just going here off the chat. I actually did see this up here too. Am I taking the team to Kentucky? We'd like to. We'll see if we can get that, like we just talked about, some funding. Right here, something stock. Best time of the year to trade, in my opinion. So I don't really have a best time of year. I really think at these earnings and whenever you get catalysts like this is going to be a really good time of year. So I don't necessarily think that summer's the worst time. I don't think fall's the best time. September, I mean, I think that you should look at some of the seasonality in, wow, 40 cents right now on NVIDIA. Okay, I mean, it's just a stink face look from to the stock again anyways. But there it is right there. So I just think that you want volatility news. So I come in every single day expecting nothing, but looking for everything. And I think that that's part of it, right? Is like, I don't know what I'm going to trade until I actually get into the office. Obviously, I have some ideas, but if you do follow the sticky note, most of them are the same names, just different ideas every day. So I look for catalysts. So I think best time of the year to trade is when your stock has catalysts. So that's the first question. Did I see the drop on Carvana? So I'm fine answering individual stock questions. I was more looking for like macro things or things about trading floor or trading like that. Yeah, because I see the drop on Carvana? No, but I can look.
No, I didn't see it either.
Right there. Do I see Tesla at 240 by end of week? Yeah. I mean, what's Tesla at right now? We had it at 228 long, 231. That's an easy one. I say yes to that. As again, we saw Tesla earnings bring down a lot of names. And, I feel like it brought down Google as well. So you had a little bit of a flush there as these guys came out and reported negatively. Now, the thing is that, again, high seas, high tide raises all ships. So if you can come with a strong Microsoft quarter and just people feeling better again about AI, remember, Tesla has a lot behind it right now. The robots, all the AI stuff as well. They talked about power generation. There are, a few good things happening. Wow. As right there's $50 for NVIDIA. So again, in talking about time of day to trade, it doesn't matter. In my opinion, it's just if it falls in, this fell in, we take the trade. Maybe it matters for your expectations, but how in the bleep are you going to know how far NVIDIA is going to run right now? You know, you want to use Fibonacci's, you want to use all that, great. Knock yourself out, okay? But I'm telling you, out of everything that I hear around here, the best way to learn how to trade is by actually trading, having real skin in the game, and that's what's changed for me. Having shares, having skin in the game, and being able to make the right decisions at the right times, regardless of what time of day it is. So right here, this comes up to the 50-period moving average. So yeah, like right now, I only have a third left. Look at all of these outs here at the 50-period moving average. There's 3 of them right here. Boom, boom, boom. Now, if we can climb, great. We're going to have a big trade for you. It's another trade alert, another $1 in the money here well, 42 cents in the money on Nvidia and $1.30 on SOXL. You might say, like, why would I be long Nvidia but short SOXL? You're right. That makes no sense. I have less than 10% left of this one. So if this can come back in, great. We more have to deal with our Nvidia trade, which we have a third on right now and bouncing around a little bit. So, all right, so I'll just keep going
on that
with
note,
some of the questions. Yeah, go ahead, yeah.
2 things. One, Nvidia broke the trend, so I'm in on the dip. And then Apple went to the $0.50. So we scalped off of VWAP there, got to the $0.50, starting to turn around. If we get VWAP again, we'll go again at 218 change. It's like 218 teens is where the bid has come in. But it needs to break out 75s. If we break that out, I think we get to 219. Obviously, you guys can see 219's been resistance all day long. So until that breaks, I'm thinking longs are done at the 219 level on Apple. So we'll go station to station on that. For Nvidia, I was just simply looking for, I drew the trend from here, lower highs, all that good stuff. You close for the first time above the trend line. So I said, if it closed above the trend line, we're going to go long. So it closed above the trend line, dipped right back into that support. If it loses it, that's underneath 70s to me on Nvidia. And here comes like one.
Let's go.
Well, so whatever you like, a couple of longs. If shorts had come in first, like VWAP shorts, we probably would have had those. But that's not what happened. What happened is the longs just started to come in and look pretty solid. So going to get first offer at 120, 112 and a quarter. If it breaks that, I think you go 112.75, 2-set upside. I still am looking to short the pop at VWAP on some weaker names. But Nvidia broke trend, so we got in long. I'd love to see Intel at VWAP, and then we'll try to short that one as well. So lots of things moving around in here. I saw there was this halter. I'm just going to say there's that serve stock that was doing all that crazy stuff in the morning or today in a general sense. ISPO, which has just halted a second time, has less than 1 million shares worth of volume. It opened, like this is, look at the nothing that was happening on this. And all of a sudden, a couple of big volume spikes. It hasn't crossed 1 million shares and is incredibly illiquid at this moment. Unless volume starts to really pick up on this, this is kind of one of those stocks that's in a no-fly zone for me. Like Serve, pretty tradable for a mover. That ISPO, not very tradable, at least for anything that I would look at.
Oh, man. At some point, you know, like we look at this Nvidia, now this is 75 cents in the money. Like we just put this on, you know, so I don't, you know, we're starting to get some other pieces out. We talked about still having a third. Now we have 20% left. So it's a nice move to the upside as it keeps on going. And I'm just glad that I just talked to you guys about that time of day and it not really being overly important. And I think this is a good example right there because, you know, even in here, like I didn't get any 75-cent winners on Nvidia, but it comes into the level that we really liked. I mean, we wrote down 111 on this board. So when it comes into 111.50, we're taking it. So there it is, man. It's a nice move. It's a nice move to the upside. We'll just continue to watch it out right here. I did feel a little bit some kind of ways here. We did miss this SOXL, just like Tesla. You got to punch out once it breaks the 50-period moving average. That's something that we've done work on again. And we really like the 50-period moving average. So I'm going to put a bid down here at 42.10 on SOXL. See if we get lucky. We do have less than 10%. We've talked about that on this trade as well. So I can go back over. Bears vs. Bulls is sending me some questions. So definitely tag me in the chat if there's anything you want to ask me about for sure. And we'll go over that as that's what I feel like. I mean, I feel like I do that pretty good sometimes. All right, so that was 240 by the end of the week. I just mentioned that as well. All right, Shakib wants to know, Intel swing pickup Friday before close. All right, I mean, a swing trade. So I mean, I think we always want to look.
They report on Thursday.
That's what I was going to say. So I don't even have trade ideas open. My bad. So yeah, they report on Thursday. So I would say if you're looking to pick some up ahead of their report, Shakib, you're probably, I don't trade options. And if you are looking to pick that up, I would say I like to stay away from these names, especially a name that is basically the worst in all of semi-land. Intel, I would stay away from that, not just today, but I mean in general. This name drops from $51 at its high of just, like I said, 6 months ago, all the way in again to its lows. It's like Intel is on its lows here of the year. It goes, yeah, back all the way to, like if you held this stock all year, you've got no gains. You know, compare that to everything else. So I would say this is a tough one, man. It's a tough pill to swallow. If anything, I would prefer the puts, just because you break this level that everybody that was, you know, the smartest person in the room buying this down here at 30. And I had FOMO, man, when this was up to 37. I even said here on the show, I don't think you'll ever see this again. You know, we had the Trump pump there. You know, dude gets shot in the face or the ear or whatever. You think it's going to go higher. Then Kamala comes and just squashes that whole story. And now that's the #1 story, it seems like. That comes back in right here. Plus, you get a drop in on NVIDIA. And I said this the other day when someone asked me about Intel calls. And I said, just put it, if you like the semis, buy SMH or StockXL or something like that. So I would say, Shakib, I mean, thanks for the question. But for me, nah, I think it's a pretty decent pass on anything long Intel related until after the quarter. And I think if they bump up 10% on good news and the quarter was great and you like it, then buy it then. I mean, I think that's a little bit of a better situation there. August 1st. So as Neil mentioned, later on this week, coming in for sure.
You get so much more information on it. Like, and
yeah,
the funny thing is the 30 level is not even the best buy level on the stock. It was 25 is where all the support was on Intel.
Well,
no, 25 was like a big triple bottom on the daily.
I mean, this was support for 2 months. So I'm just saying, I agree with you. I think that's
no,
the
I know.
ultimate
Don't get me wrong.
best.
Like,
but like this is support.
That was good. It was definitely support. I just think the 25 level is where the biggest move happened.
So I think that's the fear, right? You drop from 30 into. I think you're 26, 27.
They have a bad report. You're going to see 25 again.
Yeah. So
that's what I think.
Yeah, I agree. So yeah, I think we both are on the same page. Now, and I'll just answer one more, and I'll give it back to Neil because obviously I'm talking way too much here. Charlie, and I'll talk about your question too, Erie Pages, about living offshore and trading. I think there's some benefits to that. I mean, I think cost of living is always important. That's the #1 consideration. I would say family would be the #1, and then cost of living. So. By family, I mean safety and schooling, all that kind of stuff, healthcare. But yeah, for your question there, Mr. Charlie Taff from the chat, thank you so much for that one. Asked about, what about Costco? Do you think it's good to add to this position? Glizzy Nation, yeah, shout out to Glizzy Nation as Kathy Wood right now. I don't know if she's an investor in Costco or not. This might be too good of a company to be invested in for her. But yeah, for sure. So for me, again, everything that I'm advising right now is stuff that's my opinion and just, you know, things that I would be doing for myself, not necessarily for you guys. I think you seek financial advice based on your own, you know, when are you retiring, what your portfolio management looks like. But for me, I would think that this move down, if you come over to my screen, thanks. I think this is wrong one.
That's my chart.
There we go. So I think a nice move down for Costco right now into 50-period moving average. I would be buying that there, so now we're under it. I think this is a name that you would want to DCA. I mean, I don't know. Most people that shop at Costco are still shopping there, and this is a trade down name, right? I mean, as the economy becomes potentially a little hinged, the thing about the Costco person, the Costco customer, they still are pretty well up there on the pay scale. What's the word I'm looking for?
The income level.
Income level, but not. Anyways, income level, yeah. Affluent.
There you go.
That's the word. And we did hear that there's a lot of traders or a lot of people also trading down for Walmart, meaning that those of us that used to shop at Farm Boy. By the way, I went to Farm Boy yesterday. I love me some Farm Boy. I mean, that is one of the best places to shop, honestly. Great selections there. They have the swinging monkey over the bananas. I thought that was hilarious. I love seeing that. That's great. Great. Farm Boy is amazing. But anyways, that's more like a Whole Foods, kind of. But anyways, they probably have Farm Boy. Maybe it's like Trader Joe's. All right, so anyways, Walmart is another one of those names that continues to work. I mean, if you look at people that are like, oh my God, the NASDAQ, you know, the sky is falling. Yeah, it is, right? And I think that if it does fall in the NASDAQ, you want to look to say, hey, maybe I'm overexposed to some of these other names. What about getting into a Walmart, which really doesn't matter too much if iPhones are selling that hot, you know? Things like that, where no matter what, people are going to need to eat and clothe and so on and so forth. And I just think that Walmart, you know, the prices can't be beat. You have Walmart, Amazon, and Costco. So for me, those would be the three retail names that I would look at. And then, of course, Farm Boy, if that ever becomes public. Which maybe it already is.
I don't know
Like
if
the Sobeys own them. I don't know
if they are. I feel like I don't think they
Farm
are.
Boy is a burger chain.
But the other thing to consider is, you know, like there's really high quality names that haven't been dipping that are pulling in. Like you mentioned Costco. That's one I want to get in myself. I already own Walmart, but I haven't been buying Walmart. I'm just kind of letting it go. Chipotle. Chipotle just made a decent bottom off for earnings.
And they reported.
Yeah, they reported already. Up 2 points today. But Chipotle, not split adjusted, those charts. But after the earnings reversal, which is exactly what it was on Thursday, guess what? Double bottom, hold the same level twice, third time. All it has to do now is break out the top. And I only just looked at this because you were talking about Costco, and that reminded me, what's the thing I like off for earnings? Hold the low, break out the top. Chipotle is 50, okay. I mean, it's 50 cents or like 60 cents away. This is about 51.62 or call it 65. You break out that top this week, I'm going to like me some Chipotle. As long as it holds on to the same bottom, puts in some higher lows and breaks out the top, I like it. So Chipotle looking very, very solid. Give it a couple of days to make a bottom when earnings kind of, you know, hit or miss. It doesn't really matter. It's the reaction to earnings that you're able to get. And obviously to the upside, I meant to go to Apple because I got out of Apple. Didn't want to interrupt, but Apple, same lower high, rejects. So a couple of times it's gotten up here to 218.75. We'll go dip by hunting down into 218, but play that for the dip by long. Now looking like it wants to challenge at least that 219 level. If it comes back into VWAP, we'll grab it. Nvidia was only an entry when it broke this channel up. It's still holding above. So if it breaks underneath this support, that's like a 111.75. I'll get out looking for 112.80. And then Intel, it's not VWAP, but it's at 31 level. It just kind of came right into it. It's wicked a couple times, got to 31.03, and essentially pulled back. So if it breaks at 31.03, I'm going to get out and wait for VWAP on Intel. You still have time to go. You got like 50 minutes left in the day. It's not at that point where you're like, you know, VWAP or nothing. There's no other trades out there. You still have plenty of time. If a low float runner wants to go, I think we can look at those. Kava's blasting higher, DJK says.
That was the other one.
Yeah, I would imagine Kava's just going to, like this, like since this came to market, it's been a very good. Wow, that chart is exactly the same as Chipotle today. It's been very good, and then it dipped off of those highs. I think, you know, Chipotle might have possibly also brought it down a couple of days ago. On sympathy, it looks like it broke the lows, and then Chipotle makes a bottom, and this makes a bottom. Mediterranean, I've never been. I've heard good things about it, but I've never been. Probably from a priced earning, people will tell you that it's overpriced, but that's exactly what they've been saying about Chipotle forever. But yeah, I've never been to them. I will be a buyer of Chipotle before I'm a buyer of Kava, but that looks pretty good as well. So Chipotle went to the downside. It made a recent low. Easy recovery. You know, sometimes the sympathy play is better because as Chipotle was holding the same low, Kava was holding a higher low. And if it was dipping in sympathy, then maybe it'll just rip a little bit easier because he didn't have to worry about the earnings for them. I've never traded this name. I think I maybe took like one trade on the IPO day. That's about it. Doesn't look like the volume's that great for a day trade. Probably a swing stock for most people.
Yeah, Chipotle just needs to, for me, it just needs to get above that 53 area, which is the 200 period moving average. I like that. Yeah, that'd be nice right there. So, all right. I answered that Erie pages. There hasn't been too many other questions on there. You just asked about taking your profits in U.S. dollars and trading again, you know, in another country. I think that's fine. And you also asked something about taxes, like RRSPs and stuff. Like, I don't know, you got to figure that out. I ain't no accountant for that.
Every jurisdiction is different.
Right, exactly. So sometimes you can't, you know,
can't answer tax questions.
Yeah, like you might not be able to put money into your RSP if you're not currently paying taxes in Canada. Like, I don't know how that all works. So you got to figure that out. And I'm not here for that. But okay, so the other one, I just saw someone in the chat right now, the Piper asked me something about needing help with keep losing on trades like those shorts. Which ones? All of them. Okay, that's where I need help. NVIDIA, Palantir, SockSell. All right. So basically, the only short that I have right now is SockSell. So maybe you're talking about this one. So look, losing on a trade honestly has nothing to do with anything other than it's just it wasn't the right time and it wasn't the right setup and you lost on it, right? And so I don't, how do you stop losing on trades? I mean, I don't, if I knew that answer, well, maybe I do, but if most people knew that answer,
Stop trading.
that's what I was going to say. Look behind us.
Losing is part of
scan the floor. How many people are sitting there right now? And sometimes, like I said this, man, I mean, we'll hire 10 people. If 1 or 2 are here in a year, that's great. Obviously, we'd like to see more than that, but let alone making any kind of money. So it's just, this is an experience trading that, although it's fun for a lot of people, it's not a roller coaster. It's not the same thing every single day where the roller coaster goes up and then goes down, then goes up, then goes down. So you're going to have to try to find the ebbs and flows of all of that. And if you're losing on shorts like this, you must be losing on longs too. Because I basically take the same setups, and that was my advice to you, Piper. It's like, I never want to hear like I always lose, and this is why when Adara was like, she was so nervous, and she'll tell you this. I mean, me and Adara have great market recap shows as we all do, and we'll talk about this today probably. I remember her saying, bless you, I remember Adara saying to me, and she said it live on the show, and that's where I came right in immediately. I think I messaged her, I even came on and said this. She was scared to go short, right? Adara probably going to nod if we get a second, you throw the camera on that just to show them. Yeah, there you go, yeah. Nodding and facial expression. So I like that one right there. And I said, no, forget about it. Don't be scared to go one way or the other on a trade. If you're scared to go short, just take a couple shorts and realize, especially on a prop floor, it's the same thing.
Yeah.
As going long.
Set stop order.
Exactly. Like take your lumps, understand it, but that's what sort of trading lesser shares is about. And or trading in a sim mode, paper trading, even just writing them down, like just short now, this time and why. We talk about journaling, something that I admittedly don't do, but I feel like that's important, especially for beginning traders. Like, this is why I like the short. Does it work? Yes or no? So my advice to you is stop thinking about them as shorts versus longs. And the other thing is start to get more specific with your trades. My net right now is at the highest spot it's been, and I'm really just trading SockSell and holding on to the same position, trading NVIDIA and only holding now 20%, talking about it hitting some of our goals. So don't get greedy. Have an idea. Okay, NVIDIA, here it comes. We just got filled. Like, there's my SockSell fill right there. So here we go. I know, and I think this just came in right at the right time. Piper, here I am sitting here. First person to answer why I'm sitting here right now to get that fill wins nothing but my respect, which might be nothing anyways. But check that out right down there. Figure out why we just got filled there. And then that's part of it. You can see down here, Neil will have 3 positions. I now have 1. We could justify why we're in, where our outs are if we're right, where our outs are if we're wrong. And I think that's really the key to trading is understanding what the problem is. It's like there's a problem with your swing. You go into the cages and you talk to a hitting coach, you talk to somebody that has fixed your swing in the past or something, and you get that done, and I think it's the same thing with trading, except for talking to other people about trading is great. Most of those times is smoke up your what. One time someone told me, those who can't do, teach. I'm trying to do both. And I just feel like that's also very, very important. Understand that you're going to be different than everybody else. And put your money where your mouth is. Keep trying, and success will one day be your friend. What's up, Daryl Flinch? There's another guy that I know has been trading for a while.
If VWAP hold, no, that one wasn't VWAP, I don't think. No, SockSell. I think they're guessing at no, that's not.
But where I took this trade?
No,
yeah,
it was about the out. The out.
No, this is the 50 period.
That's what
moving
I'm saying.
average.
Like, exactly. VWAP was the entry, and sometimes that's what it is. Like Intel, I would love to get VWAP, but you know what? Stock's not going to VWAP. So we want to short a lower high. We just got into this one. It happens. It just so happens this is $31 even, and a couple of little wicks above 31 to 03. So we short 31. Start getting out here at 96, got a 94 bid, gonna have a bid at 90. Again, if it breaks 03s, I'm just gonna jump out of the trade. That's the plan. I'm still in Palantir, but like I'm not doing anything with Palantir. It tried to break 27, bounced off of it. Now it's back underneath 27. I just want to see either low of the day or if it breaks back out. I think I have a trail at 27.10. I'll probably move that to 5s on Palantir because that was a VWAP trade, but if it breaks back above 27, it's a moving target, right? Like it's kind of slowly trending down. I don't want it to come all the way back. I don't think we're going to get a VWAP short on Palantir this afternoon, so nothing doing there. Just hanging on to that. If something else had set up like this, certainly would have taken it there. What else we got? Morbius asking about AVGO. That's a good stock, but I wanted to quickly mention Nvidia before we go to anything new. So Nvidia, it just double tapped. So the reason for the entry is the break of the trend line. Like that was it. Double bottom, broke trend line, kind of consolidated this 111.75. Goes to first level, which is this resistance. Now it's trying to bounce off the same level. I don't love how weak this pulled right back in. It held the support, which is good, but that was a pretty big retracement. It took, look at how long it's on a 3-minute. It's gliding to the upside. One candle, it gives it all back. That's still a little bit heavy there on Nvidia, so I don't necessarily love the reload on that one. I felt like Apple was a little bit better, and maybe we'd get an Apple reload off of VWAP, but Apple doesn't seem to want to pull back into VWAP. Still plenty of time for that VWAP retrace. That's what I'm looking for next would be dip by an Apple. Don't necessarily like Nvidia as much. I'd reload Intel if it's going to give me a chance in a couple of seconds here, and we can get some 3101, something along that as well. And CPDB, stop loss lessons. There's a lot you can learn from setting stop orders. I think you got to play by ear because it's so easy to say, okay, you're going long, say Apple at VWAP here at 218. All right, let's just put a stop at 217.99. I've found that stopping out at right there, a couple of pennies underneath VWAP and not giving it a little bit more room is probably a recipe for disaster at VWAP. I think sometimes that even dollar stop is going to be absolute gold and you're going to want to make sure you have it in there. But that's not, to me, that's not around VWAP. That's not the place to go. I want to give it just a little bit more. You might get your stop run. With Nvidia, it was pretty simple. It bounced when it broke the trend line. This is where it bounced. So my stop is going right underneath. I don't get cute with that. This is not a trade I'm giving to the low of the day because the trade had nothing to do with the low of the day for me. I was buying it after it broke out. So if it can't hold on to that same level where it broke, I'm going to jump out of it. So my stop is just underneath 75s. It's only 11 cents worth of risk, maybe a little bit of slippage as well. Wow, Tesla is starting to come. Tesla lost VWAP here. This could bring us down. Tesla underneath VWAP, finally giving it up. Yeah, this pops back into VWAP. Maybe there's a late pop and fade trade here on Tesla. Shout out to Finch Jane, Asta in the chat. Might put this one in over Intel if it gives us a VWAP trade.
Just going about my business here. Look at Soxel. We did this live. There's my out. We're out. We're out of Soxel. So right there, like I said, when Neil was just talking about that Nvidia trade, sometimes it takes 20 minutes to make 30 pennies or something. We just, right there, by getting out at 42.15, it's at 42.45. That's 30 cents we just made right there. And we showed you guys, I don't know, I was sitting there, I take the fill. Look at Nvidia, right? I mean, the same thing, sitting there, we take the fill. This was a level, again, coming up in here, 112.10. So there it is. We're taking that fill. Bunch of fills here on the outside. If it starts to rip up, great. But we take that, thought it was going to possibly break the 50, comes back up into an area, we take it. Now we just wait to see if it can continue to go to the upside. So again, all right, what else, guys? I want to look at Microsoft. I mean, I think that was a name that I'd like to buy. Oopsies, not Brazil. Microsoft NQ.
Another.
Oops, MSFT. Why did I say MSFT 34? I don't know why that is. All right, so Microsoft right here, 428. Maybe there's BDRs.
No way that trades in Brazil.
Yeah, Brazil derivatives, probably. Yeah. There, just like there's Canadian depository receipts, there's Brazilian depository receipts,
sense.
Maybe.
Whatever.
Maybe it does, yeah. All right, so there it is for everyone trying to make that money. 428 and change right now for Microsoft. So a good little level there. Let me just refresh so I can get the daily to go. I mean, I really like all of these names. My portfolio is diversified, but definitely swinging now towards tech And I'm not going to buy any more of this one. I mean, below the 50 period. Like I said, there's not too many names that are above the 50 period right now. We talked about Palantir and some of the other strong tech names.
Oh, I'm stink bidding Microsoft at the 200.
The 200s?
200 period.
Oh, 200.
It's right at $400.
I say not $200.
No, $200. Come on, man.
Oh, $400.
Like, there are levels that, like, if you're stink bidding, you should be buying a shotgun. Like, just like invest.
Well, I mean, Microsoft was at $200 not too long ago.
I know, but I'm just saying, if it gets there rapidly enough that any stink bid I have is going to fill, you got other issues at that point that I'm not worried about dip buying stocks. Yeah. If I see that short term. But yeah, the 200 period moving averages hasn't really sniffed it. I have not bought Microsoft in a hot minute, so that's one of the reasons why I'd like to be. It's one of the stocks I had on my list of things to dip buy, and then when it did this, I didn't get it. So when that happens, like, okay, I want to pick up a little more. It got to the point where, like, I actually have more Eli Lilly. Well, before I sold Eli Lilly, I had more Eli Lilly than I did Microsoft. I had more Eli Lilly for a hot minute than I did Google. That's been rectified at this point because I didn't like Eli Lilly that much. I was like, that. If you don't believe that, then what am I doing? Like, buy some of the other stuff. But here comes the market trying to bounce into the upside. We just talked about, stink bidding, Sebastian, just means, like, I'm bidding a price on my long-term account or in a general sense well before it gets there. Like, I'm not waiting for Microsoft to be at 400. If I want to buy there and I'm planning on holding it forever, then I'm just going to throw a bid at like 402.69 or whatever price I determine is cool. So, I did that recently with Meta. I'm doing it with Microsoft. You never know on earnings you get picked up and all of a sudden you get that fill. Sometimes it blows through, but what do I care? I'm not trading it for a stop loss in my personal account. I'm just looking to add to my personal holdings of it. And let me go back over to Tesla here because it is trying to bounce after that, maybe not that strongly, after that fail of VWAP. So it just got to 230. I mean, I'm looking for it to get into here and give us a retrace. Doesn't even seem to want that. And Intel, why didn't I get filled at 30? It got to 30. Yeah, it got to 3103. I didn't get a fill there. Maybe I should move it to 31. It did get there. No, it did not. It got to 3101, it looks like. So I'm going to move to the even and try and grab it there. Day trader cut, I just pick random numbers like that. 420.69. Nah, it's just, what difference does it make? So if I can put in something that's just hilarious to me, personally, it doesn't make a difference. I'm just trying to pick up something in the long term and add to it. When you're trading, you want specific prices. At the end of the day, it's going to matter a heck of a lot more. Like if you're shorting Intel in front of 3103, you don't want 3096 if the afternoon range is 15 cents, because then it doesn't make any sense risk to reward. You might as well just get it exactly where you want to at 31 even if you can, because it matters at that point. But we'll see what happens here with Tesla. I'd love to be able to get this, sort of off the top here. 231 would be a good stop, and then you could get it above the $0.50 and short this one. Super strong name. It looks like it's giving it up under VWAP. Bit of a trend reversal here on Tesla just recently.
All right. All right, PayPal is reporting tomorrow. We can look at some SoFi. Let me see what PayPal is doing right now. I mean, I like the stock, but I like the whole digital currency transformation, everything like that. But I mean, PayPal's been around for so long that it's not like it's a new technology. I don't know if they're changing the game or revolutionizing anything. So with PayPal coming through, we'll have to wait to see if there is any possible trade there for PayPal. I like looking at this website as we do have the 29th here today. We saw McDonald's expected to move 4%, comes out with nothing. We saw Welltower expected to move 5%, comes out with nothing. We see ON 10% move, comes out with nothing, 4%. And again, tough one to trade. We talked about that on our recap there. Other than that, man, a whole bunch of nothing. Lowe's this morning expecting 4%, comes out 2%. So a lot of misses basically as far as volatility is concerned there for today. So, we can look at tomorrow if we'll go into July 30th and see what is before market open. So tomorrow we have Procter coming out. And again, I feel like that's probably going to be in and around that 3%. I mean, never really moving too much. Merck, I really like XLV, as Neil mentioned, Eli Lilly there. So I really like XLV, which is the ETF that holds all of them, which Lilly is the #1 holding there. AMD after market close. So join me and Brian Shannon tomorrow where we'll have that one coming through as well for you. Before market open is Pfizer. So there's going to be a lot of names to look at that are coming through. Whoa. Here we go. Yes, sir. Starbucks. I mean, we're in this one. I want to buy more. So let's see if Starbucks can hold that level. Last earnings report down 16% as they can't figure that out. We'll see if they do now. I like the name. I feel like more discounts have been there for Starbucks. I really think that's a good one. There's PayPal coming through again. Down 8% is the expected move. If you look at options, last time it was a snoozer, only 1.4. So not a big mover there. I really like EA Electronic Arts, but they're already gone. So, I mean, still probably, I don't know if it's still trading or not, but Microsoft bought EA. I liked Take-Two. Actually, now that we talk about that, let me see TTWO, because this was a name that I keep saying to Fabian as well. I want to buy this because of Grand Theft Auto. But here's TTWO. I think Grand Theft Auto got pushed back a little bit again.
I remember seeing that.
Yeah, it always does. Yeah. So Take-Two right there, just hovering. So yeah, maybe a break of the 50 period there if we get good earnings on Take-Two will get me into that trade right now, as I don't have, other than, I mean, I got to, other than Roblox, I don't have really anything in the space. I mean, obviously owning Microsoft puts me there with Xbox and some of that stuff. But yeah, plus 99 points on the call for Take-Two. So that should be a good one there. We'll see. We'll see if that gets going. So I do like that call, and again, baselining right now. So Take-Two Interactive. Yeah, on Roblox strength, on Grand Theft Auto strength, and that could be a buy the rumor, sell the news, like as it comes up to the date of Grand Theft Auto release. But I think it's going to be huge, right? It's multi-platform. It's going to be an absolute monster. So my kid's already wondering if he's allowed to play it. I already told him no, he's 12. But I feel
like,
I feel like when we were 12, like,
yeah,
I mean, I was playing like,
we were playing that.
I mean, anybody that's out there, man, Leisure Suit Larry was pretty gangster for a minute there. That was pretty awesome. Trading
That's
those
classic.
games, and I mean, so
PayPal's a problem if it loses 57 tomorrow.
PayPal's been a problem for me for a while.
Yeah, you know what though? I own Square and it's not been any better. So you pick your poison on that. I've never owned like eBay or anything, but like both of those names, but just specifically PayPal, 57, flat bottom. It's not going to be a flat bottom break, because if that happens on PayPal on this daily chart, it's probably going to gap through it. Like the break will happen when they report it. And then by the time you get to the open, if it's losing this level, it'll be at like 56 or something. But this is on the radar. Ideally, I never want a stock to go down, but if it's breaking down under this, it's probably a better opportunity to trade than if it's doing nothing inside of the range underneath $62. So I think that could be a good one. The only thing that we did recently, so I trailed out of that Palantir, but we didn't put that on. We put that on at like the middle of the day. But we reloaded. We got 31s. Same area here for Intel, but let's go to the screen. We have Adara. Give us some ideas.
Quite a few names, especially in the consumer space, gapping up on watch here. Some names gapping up and gapping down on what's been a pretty eventful day here for the markets. We're going to start here with LUV. This is Southwest Airlines. They did actually report last week, getting a slight price target decrease here from Citigroup, just dropping the price target from 29 to 28.25 while maintaining a neutral rating, but a 75-cent price target decrease, sending LUV to lows of days down over 3%. Next up, we have DIS, Disney. They actually report next week their Deadpool and Wolverine movie from Disney and Marvel doing very well, breaking box office records for R-rated movies here, and also their Marvel Studios apparently crossing $30 billion at the worldwide box office. So good look for DIS on this film release. Last but not least, McDonald's very strong. They did miss across the board for their earnings, adjusted earnings per share and sales missing expectations, and also actually having a 1% decrease here for their Q2 comparable sales. But the traders reacting positively to their earnings call, with the CFO saying that their meal deal was positively received, the $5 meal deal, and they're actually expecting to raise prices less this year. So MCD up more than 4% here on earnings, guys.
We had written down, thanks, Adara. We were just talking about Deadpool and how successful it is as an R-rated movie. Like anything funny that's R-rated, like, I think it's great. Like, I don't know what that Ricky Stenicki is, but I really like that. That was really
Did you
funny.
Watch it?
Cock blockers. Yeah, I love Ricky Stenicki. That's why
you know what?
I was looking for Amazon stuff.
No, somebody told me that Ricky Stenicki wasn't going to be funny.
What?
And then I watched it as like a workout show before I got hurt. And man, I thought it was jokes. I had no issues with that.
Yeah, I thought it was funny. I mean, whatever. You got to go with a light heart. But I was going to say, we were looking to short Disney today on that news, but Disney just kept on going. I thought it was a fade the news situation there. So we're not short Disney at 92, but I did have it written on here as a play. And I think if I was here, I probably would have been short rate here, but it only went down. Well, it went down 40 cents. You know what? Disney, probably a missed opportunity, but when I look at this, I would have definitely had some as we came back up and broke through. So we probably, again, if we want to talk about this real time, and I was here, after 11:30, I left immediately to went to go get Passport. So I wasn't here until about 12. It's all the way at King Street. We're at Bay and Wellesley, so it's a little bit of a walk. They're downhill one way, up the other, as that's how it's supposed to work. Right there, but 92. I feel like we would have, you guys know this. I mean, we just went long Nvidia at 111.45 when the level was 50 cents lower. I would have definitely shorted this, especially off of that. So right there, short 90s basically, down into 50s. We would have taken some out, but then on the way back up, probably would have looked good for a reload. And then there it is, breaking through. So I would probably say Disney on a 92 short call for me. Probably a flat trade, could have even lost.
Speaking of that 92 level,
yeah.
So this is a trade that I'm taking reps on every single time it sets up, and you're gonna see this. Like if I see this set up on a steep uptrend or a deep or a long upward trend, and we've been talking about like this, like how good it works when you get the bigger move relative to what you're sort of able to risk, right? So Disney, similar thing. Like there's your higher lows. I don't start it usually from the low of the day. You know, a lot of times it'll break out, show me that you're holding VWAP. It breaks out here and then holds that level. So start it there. It holds that trend all the way through. It breaks the trend here at the quarters. Look at this. Clean as it breaks the trend line right into 92. Starts to catch a bit at 92. The mistake here is reloading it. Just didn't need to reload. You know, I look back and it's like, no, that's not the trade. Don't try to make one trade into another trade. Which would be like, yeah, this is a level. It's not a level. This is a trend break. It caught a bit at support. Get out if it breaks higher. So I could have actually just got out of this trade and actually been up on it, but I reloaded it, ended up losing on Disney. And I did not. So this is another, like I said last week, I'm like, I'm really thinking about buying Disney out in front. That's why I have a line here at 89. I didn't do it. I didn't buy this last week. So I'm kind of hating myself for it. Because it was such a good level, this 89. And I put the line down there for a reason, but I didn't stink bid it. I was like, if I like it next week, I'll buy it next week. It's kind of the attitude that I had instead of just, well, it gave you that fill last week, so just buy the damn stock. But we'll see. I still like this level on Disney all the way back into the beginning of the year. It was literally January like 10th or 11th that it made that low, and now it's holding it as well. Articles on Intel. Thank you for the super chat. Be free. Be free. That's what I love that. I love that name. Articles on Intel 13th and 14th generation chips failing. Yeah, well, they have been behind in technology for quite some time, in truth. They've been lagging. Their business has been lagging on multiple fronts. Their fab business can't do 5 millimeter, let alone the 3. Can't do 5 very well, can't do 3 at all, so they're lagging behind TSM. And obviously, they've been getting their data center business clock cleaned by AMD for quite some time now. They're behind on AI. There's just not much that they're getting right. That said, that's why it's popular, like shoot the moon type of play. Like this is a stock that is more in common with like things that are in my, like we have 2 accounts. We have like our like long-term account, like RRSP, and we have a TFSA, which is more like a trading account. Like Intel's in the other one for me. Like it's not in the RRSP. I own Intel in my TFSA. Like it's more of a shot play than it is like the long-term investment. Like in the other one, I own like AMD. I have Nvidia in there. I used to have Micron, but I don't anymore. The Intel not looking very good. Just a scalp trade here off 31. And that ISPO is moving again. Imperial Music fan. That is the halter of the day or the afternoon. The liquidity did pick up a little bit, and it was finally able to do some actual trading, and now it's just in another bit of a halt. So I find like that's maybe the time that you can get into these things is not when it's doing all this nonsense, either you get the halt or you don't. But when it's in here, you might be able to catch some trades when it's not halting, showing you some support levels. 5s looks like it was good. But a very, very low float name here, ISPO. Be careful with it. No one ever went broke taking profit.
Nope.
Ideally.
Yeah, you go broke taking profit if your profits exceeds your losses, and especially if you have 2 trades, you want to make sure that you make profit, hopefully on both. And if you lose on something, hopefully you don't lose as much as you make on the other name. And talk about a name that's coming into earnings. We have SoFi I don't know why. I guess it's because the market cap was so low on this name, but $7 billion is not bad for SoFi. I mean, it has nothing to do with it. Look at their estimated earnings growth, EPS growth minus $3 right now. $4 billion in cash. Their EPS was positive for last quarter. So we'll have to, or previous quarter to last, they report tomorrow. So we'll find out more about SoFi. And as those of you ask, we'll see if we can deliver right now. Look, I actually made a mark here. Get rid of that one right there off the 50-period break. So that was good as we see it. But if we put an anchor basically at this high right here, let's just see where that takes us right now. So you're right here right now. This is a very, very slippery slope. We could drop another anchor as well. Sometimes, again, we have Brian Shannon on. He talks about dropping them from the year to date as well. So you can go up to this high where we had made it. And then we are starting to go underneath that anchor as well. So if we zoom in just a little bit, there's your year-to-date anchor at 760. So to take that and to stay above, that would be real good for sure. And then there's your next anchor that you're off of last report right here coming into 725. So whoopsies, we'll have Brian on tomorrow and we can discuss all of this play there with SoFi. And if you stay tuned with me tonight, then I will talk about SoFi with Michael Nas. How does that sound? And
some crypto, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm putting that guy through the gauntlet, baby. We'll have some talks with him.
That was quite the pullback. Oh, why don't I have Ethereum?
Yeah, and all that. Yeah, we'll talk. We'll talk.
This is the weirdest thing with TradingView.
Yep.
But I'll have like a Bitcoin chart up as my default, and then I always have like an Ethereum chart up. And I swear, like I'm not making this up. I swear, like this always, it just goes back to a Bitcoin chart. Like I don't intentionally have two. Like it's
Bitcoin pays TradingView to automatically change.
No, like I want to have the Ethereum chart up, so I have both. I only own, for real, I only have two crypto names. Like I have a little bit of some other crap. I shouldn't say crap. I have some other altcoins in my Coinbase account, but really it's just these two. But a big time pullback is what I was getting at on Bitcoin. Held on to that trend on the daily, unfortunately, and then you're pulling right back in. Still holding out some support from over the weekend there at 66.6. 66.6. Multiple times there on BTC. It was able to hold on. Well, let's see what happens. We had 340 in. We didn't really give you the early look on the imbalances because there's not much there outside of BAC being $1 million to buy side. Don't really know CRGY. Ken views there every single day, $1 million to sell. It's always irrelevant. Pfizer's like an early look buy. This is the one that could be interesting. Snowflake with an early look sell of 700,000. Not typically a name that we're going to see with an imbalance, and it doesn't do a ton of shares. Like right now, Snowflake has done 1.7 million shares on the day, and it currently has a potential sell imbalance of 700,000, which last I checked was like 44%. So right now, 44% of the day's volume on Snowflake is potentially a sell imbalance. I'm going to throw this one up on a side chart here. We're not going to get Apple VWAP again, so I can just, the odds of us getting Apple VWAP are like slim to none at this point. So I'm going to throw Snowflake up because if that does come out of sell and it's maybe pushing into the high, that would be a spicy little reversion trade on Snowflake. It has more to do with the fact that it's done 1.6 million shares on the day for that imbalance, which normally 700,000, not a big deal. It's relative to the day's volume, why I'm going to have eyeballs on this one in about 6 minutes when the imbalances come out.
I was just looking at this PayPal trade. It actually faked you out. It's coming right here. I'll pull it up. It's coming right back in right now, PayPal. And what I was saying about getting faked out a little bit on this name was right there. That's a tough play because it's almost like it breaks the high of the day right there. And maybe if we zoom in, we could see, right there. So that would have been, if you take this break, that's 58.85. Yeah, it only goes like 10 pennies and then gets hit off 59. And you're coming right back in right now. I actually think a break at 59, it's not too late. It's not too late. Could possibly get that coming through right now. So I think that would be something to look at. A little hesitant because it is above earnings. It is before earnings, not above earnings, before earnings. So PayPal, a look there, I don't hate on a breakthrough 59 to potentially get going because, again, just looking here, right? I mean, this looks pretty good. I would say if you take a 59 and you're able to get this out at, ooh, that's only 59.10. Okay, so PayPal's stuck somewhere. 59, yeah, this little gap. I mean, it's going to be nothing when you look at its earnings day, but, 59.50, something like that. If you get 50 cents quickly on a 59 break, I think that's doing pretty good. And we'll
That's
see
a 1% move. It's pretty good.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. So we'll see if there's buyers coming through here into the close. Or PayPal, I think that's always an opportunity there. Looking into earnings, yeah, and then that's another thing I wanted to look at. I called it up, and thanks for mentioning it. You said Tilray, right?
Yeah, didn't they?
Yeah, they report. Oh, they report tonight, I think.
Was it tonight too?
Isn't it?
I thought they were.
I think Tilray reports tonight. I don't know, Adair, double check for us if they do.
Okay.
They are. Okay, good. So, yeah,
I don't really follow the wheat stocks.
No, I don't. I mean, when it does this kind of movement flat on the day, I figure that Tilray probably did not
talk about not moving
report
at all.
Again, but there it is right now, not moving at all. So for me, man, I was going to say I'd rather smoke the stuff than actually get smoked. But right now, I don't, on Tilray, man, I would say, pass. And it's not like a puff pass thing. This is more of just like a wait and see, man. I mean, this is stuck here. We do know, I don't know if J.D. Vance is pro-marijuana or not. I mean, I feel like the reason why I bring up VP is because I remember that when there was Pence and Kamala back in, I guess that's who it was.
Yeah.
Back in the day there was discussions. And I remember, we have to go all the way back to 2020, I guess. But when that was going, that started to go a little bit. And that probably had something to obviously do also with COVID. I mean,
it still has the short.
Stuck at home there.
14%.
Probably puffing on that stuff.
There we go.
There we go. All right, there we go. We got it up right now. So SoFi, I mean, I think that's going to be the big one that a lot of us are going to look at. Pfizer, PayPal, Merck, P&G. Anything else that we missed? BP if you're in the oil patch.
Yeah. No, I mean, obviously, I feel like tomorrow, you're going to get some names. Don't sleep on things like Pfizer and Merck. Not after what 3M did on Friday. You never know what it's going to be. And I actually think Pfizer, as bad as it's been, sometimes that downward trend break, or break of the downward trend is a better way to put it, can get really spicy. Come on, daily chart, don't do me wrong here. Gonna load up, there you go. Because Pfizer has another one of these channels that I've been observing since it made this bottom at 25 bucks. So I like the 25 bottom on Pfizer, it's been good. I own shares of Pfizer, just to let you guys know. But on Friday, last week, I put up this trend that if Pfizer is breaking out above it, why not? It's very, very similar to what 3M did. Now, obviously 3M, hey, look at 3M when it broke out. Difference being 3M broke out of this whatever. You can draw it any way you want, but it's easy to see. 3M broke out of this channel, which was still heading down, and just clean on a good report. Whereas I think Pfizer, maybe not the exact same pattern, it's making higher highs and higher lows going into it, which is technically more bullish. But this breaks out 31. It has a lot of room to play some catch up. It's not been doing much of anything good for obvious reasons, right? Once COVID was done, they were done. Pretty darn simple there. So still no break of 31.03. We have 2 minutes till the imbalances come out. I haven't moved my stop. So if we break 31.03, I'm out there. NVIDIA, if it gets back to the upside, great. You know what? There's no point. If it breaks this top, if we get a buy and balance in NVIDIA, it's probably going to the 50s or 60s anyways, and I still have my stop at 74, so we'll lean with that. And then it's Snowflake that I'm watching when 350 hits because of that 700,000 early look sell imbalance on a stock which has done barely more than that. So I'd love if it were to come out that size or bigger and there was an available short above the quarters into 130.50 where I could just risk to the high of the day, I'd try to join some snowflakes. That's an anticipation. If it comes out a buy, who cares? I'm just looking for it to come out the way that it's saying, which you never know. And just because it comes out a sell doesn't mean it's going down. If I short this thing at 40 and it breaks the high of the day, it's get out. I don't care if it's $1 million to sell. You got to have it out.
Exactly. Shout out to Hey Davis there in the chat. Hey Davis, hey. You said you sent me something cool for earnings view on X. Well, I just want to say that I mean, if you send me in a DM, we could check that here. I'm going to zoom this down there for you on the DMs. But other than that, yeah, I don't know if you did or not. This was funny. Someone sent me this. Hey Al, what's up right there? Cash cow, because we have this thing going on right there as we go. All right. Plays very many of the same characters, but shout out to Denzel Washington right there. Okay, so just real quick, anyways, if you do send me something, let me know where it is. And I just wanted to say, you have to be very, very careful because we do talk about some of the scams out there that exist, and just want to make sure everybody's following the right person. It's at Trader TV Sean and Neil as well. Just go find it at Trader TV Sean. It's very, very simple. There's probably a bunch out there that are at Trader TV Shan, at TV Sean, at this and that. But just make sure you find the right one. 47,000 followers. It should be pretty easy to find. I guess I got to update the link tree as we are not doing the podcast anymore. So we'll get that. But we also do have Instagram. Just as many fakes on Instagram as there are on Twitter. But go find. I post the sticky notes there every day. All right. So Nvidia's slipping up now, coming
NVIDIA
back.
just broke.
Yeah. So for us, again, we have, less than, we have about 10% left on it. Actually, pretty much exactly 10% left here on this name. I'm not getting out now. It's still pre-imbalance. We've done really well on this name. It makes sense to probably get out. I'm going to give this one more shot here. Neil mentioned that there were all sells there into
Well,
the
NVIDIA
close
wasn't there, but
the other day, but
it'll be there.
Yeah, probably will be there now with only 15 seconds to go. So I just have such a small piece. It's not really a big deal, but hold on a second. Let's just wait to see what happens now. My stop is still breaking through 111. So if that comes in, that comes in. 3, 2, and uno. So right now, welcome to the coin flip. That is
Snow's a mil.
the imbalances. So there's Snowflake, yeah, $1 million to the downside. So that's probably sending this lower, unless it was more than that. I don't remember what you said it was.
It was 700,000 supposed to.
Okay, so pretty flat on Snowflake, if anything, going up.
Wait a minute.
Nvidia with a sell right there. So starting to head a little bit to the downside. We talked about us having this position on. Not much moving. Apple with the sell, but you can see the NASDAQ's kind of just withstanding this. So let's just figure out right now. Oh, that's from Adara. Sorry, I wanted to see if there was anything in the chat there. We don't have it yet. So Snowflake, Nvidia, it's not that big. There's TD Bank as a buy. I don't know if there's some Canadian banks starting to report soon or not, or if they already did. SoFi is a buy as well, coming to the upside right there, SoFi. So, all right, let's figure that out if that is, something to watch for tomorrow. Intel with a sell. So it seems like the imbalances really aren't doing anything. So
yeah, not really that much
for the course
happening
here.
At all. Just, yeah, get those stop orders in there just in case anything happens. So Nvidia didn't come out a gigantic buy or sell. I mean, it's been, like I said, it's not a guarantee, but just there's been a lot of days in the last couple of weeks where you've seen 2.5, 3 million share imbalances on Nvidia. I got out 111.75 when it broke down just a second ago. And Intel, despite that sell imbalance, I mean, it's not doing much of anything. Tried to break the high, it came back down. I'm like, I'll just take it out there. With only 8 minutes to go, if it breaks that high, we get out. I think I'm just going to sit on the bid in the low 90s and see if it can even get down there. Not much of an opportunity on Snowflake. It's not the thickest of stocks in terms of liquidity. So when it came out, like, it just kind of hammered down. Like, you couldn't. If you're a human trader, you're not shorting 130. When the imbalances came out, like, it was instantly down here and continuing lower. I was kind of hoping you'd get something off of the resistance level when it came out to sell. I just double checked. There's nothing specific happening with Snowflake. Just a random, it looks like, sell imbalance on that name. Overall, I mean, it's 310 million to sell, with the NASDAQ being 415 million to sell. At least that's what we see. Darwin, you have 1 billion to the sell side. We just have a smaller number than that. But those are all estimates anyways. You just could have added it all up. Not really moving the market a ton either way here going into the close. What else we got going on here?
On Nvidia.
Nvidia's trying to go back up?
Yeah, I mean, it's still the same level here. We're still 50 cents in the money. I might just take it out. I mean, we've already done real well on this name. We only make back about 25% or so of what we lost on Nvidia here today, which is fine. For me, for sure. I mean, we will put on our bigger trades early on, especially when we feel like levels had the chance to hold. And if they don't, then this is what happens. And this is, can cause negative days, but you got to keep on going there. So we'll have one red stock today, one red stock. We'll trade 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We'll go 5 and 1, which that doesn't matter. I just want to tell you guys that because you're following similar strategies to what I'm doing, then those would be that. And I feel like most of the trades, although this is too much rapid trading here, and I don't feel like a lot of you would do this, but I mean, it was really the same thing. It was pre-market high buy, and then it was also the dip buy into the 200 period. This one was this low dip buy, so I feel like that's a trade that obviously anybody could put on as well, and that wound up working. So pretty positive there on that one. And then the other trades that we had, AMD. I mean, this is a one hit there, but pretty quick. It is a positive name, and it's pretty well done. This ARM trade is the trade that we could all have barbecued up. And I feel like this one is the big trade here for me on the day. It's ARM. Well, Tesla's bigger, but this one was a huge trade. That's that $7 winner. That's $8. That's 150 short right there, 142.20, $8 on ARM. So that's a big one that, again, most of you can trade. We talk about, why you're here. So that's another one. So that's going to be part of it. Mara, again, we were in. We explained why we got out of Mara. Again, it didn't look like Bitcoin was holding 69 and sure wasn't. So there it is, in and out, in and again and out before it drops through. We traded that live on the show. NVIDIA, we already talked about it. SOXL was a great trade, and this could have been PNL number one, but we didn't. Again, midday, and we talked about this. We did take it out as it comes all the way to the downside. That's $1.30 or $1.50. That's $1.30. So some nice outs there for SOXL. Again, basically one trade off VWAP. So that's a trade you can all have. And then, in my opinion, numbers don't lie. We can tell you this is going to be the P&L number one here for the show, and it's this 228 take right there on Tesla. And again, it's a big trade because we're using bigger shares. And I mean, all of these outs here, some of these are $1. Like this is 228 break, right? This take right here, although it doesn't look like it's a huge trade, right? That's $2. That's a $2 take. And then right there is $4. So what was, again, a very good day. All trades that I feel like were well discussed, well taken. And hopefully you guys were able to see some of the strategies there and whatnot with Tesla and all the rest. So again, thank you so much for watching. We're going to slip over there at the end of it all. Yeah, what's Ari Page saying?
No, he goes, what do you guys do when you're home in the evening? Go to your penthouse office of solitude to review the stock market before bed? No. When I get home,
I don't do any review.
It's like dad stuff. Like the second I get in the door, I'm just, I'm dad. And that's, I just try to hang out with my daughter. When I'm taking the train, I like to still read. I'm not taking the train right now, but when I'm taking the train or now I'm in the car takes me home. I'll go and I'll maybe read some aftermarket earnings stuff because that's the opportunity to do it, or maybe check out something that I didn't get a chance to see. I'll still follow. That's like the compression time for me. Maybe read my book. That's the alone time. But now, once I get home, the only time I like to do chart review is generally on Sundays in the evening, like before I might go over some charts on a Sunday evening. That's something that I've done when it's not football season. Intel came out. It's 356. Obviously, we're at the end of the day here. And not much going on. That Snowflake did end up being a good short, but it did pair off. So there's Snowflake, decent size and balance. And if you just gamble that it's going to come out the way that it said, it would have worked out. Just trust me when I tell you that it doesn't always work that way. That early look is a good guide, but it doesn't have to come out of sell imbalance. It goes all the way into VWAP. Maybe worth watching tomorrow. There was a buy imbalance on SoFi. I don't know if we mentioned, for about 1 million shares. That really pumped, well, not that big of a move, but pumped on volume. Didn't move that much, but big volume going into the close. They report tomorrow morning, SoFi, before the bell. That's always an interesting name. Someone said, why are you guys pumping SoFi? They just report tomorrow. That's a day we'll look at it because you're likely to get some price action, and that's what we like to see. Opportunity to trade it, that's all. I haven't traded SoFi in a while. It's been a long time since I've traded SoFi here. And probably last earnings, I'm going to guess.
We'll probably trade it. We'll probably trade it tomorrow. At least I probably will. We have different strategies for when there's earnings season, so we'll look for pre-market breaks. We'll look for all of that love as well. The NASDAQ's not getting any love as it's closing near or at its lows for the afternoon anyways, right here into this 1 o'clock bottom, or I guess that was 12 o'clock as we're an hour ahead here in Chicago, but right there, or backwards actually, right into this 19.2 area. So we got a little lower. We got to 19.1, nice bounce back into 19.4. As we go. No big earnings that will change sort of the trajectory of the NASDAQ here, but I don't DCA or do anything like that. I don't dollar cost average like once a month or anything like that. I'll buy dips when I think stocks are oversold and or the market is as well, and I don't think we're at that point yet. You could see right into here, I feel like I don't really necessarily want to go long until we break this like 19,680 area right there in the NASDAQ, so that could be something to look forward to as well. As I can just clearly see, my wife just butt dialed me, so that was good.
Boom.
19.7 coming in. Well, she's probably picking up my daughter right now, so that's maybe part of it. She knows I have the recap show with join me and Michael Noss, as we'll talk all about crypto and things like that, and then basically whatever else I feel like I want to talk to him about So we'll do that. We'll get his calls on some of the plays coming forward. But you've heard what Michael Noss has said before, and that is he doesn't read earnings at all. So I'll just ask him technically about what's going on, unless that's for Randy. We will, who's gone right now. Thank you to Randy for all of that. With only 2 minutes left, we'll wait to see what's going on now. Roughly 2 minutes. Now we have 1 minute left. So there we go. Into the last minute of close now for the market. It's been a good day, a rough day around here for the floor. As we mentioned, 2 positive traders, but it's really been something else here today. Look for your spots. There's a big seller right now, by the way, if you come over to my screen here on NVIDIA that I just
60K.
saw. There it is. Okay, so starting to get hit again. 20 there. I think it's gone. I mean, this size is not huge, man. We're done 221 million shares. There it is right there, yeah, on the offer. So it's 60K. Going to get eaten up there. So someone trading with a lot of shares here into the close gets eaten up in one print as if it does not even matter. So 20 seconds left. Good day so far, and we'll see if we can do an even better job on the market recap show. Join me very soon.
Yes, sir. With just about 10 seconds now, we got the countdown working again. So when we hit the button, it goes dead on. Let's get it over to Adara to start off the week. Big earnings week coming up. You know it's going to be a good one in 3, 2, and 1. Ring it, Adara.
LOL.
Big earnings week starts off. The bigger names are going to be aftermarket tomorrow, which we're going to be pretty excited for some AMD. But don't sleep on tomorrow morning. You know, SoFi is going to move around a little bit. Pfizer, Merck are going to have in play as well. Tilray, we're going to be able to see with the weed names are going to do anything. Don't hold me to that. Sometimes Tilray doesn't move at all. But during earnings season is when you want to be able to trade that one for sure. Big shout out to Fabian and Ramin on the 1s and 2s every day, making us look and sound good, giving you guys the best show every single chance that we do get. And a shout out to Adara and Sharif on the midday. Fantastic job giving you guys the lessons. They keep talking about the gap moves. I think those are important because you get a lot of those different opportunities. Some technicals work better than others, but hey, you can always learn something new in this here market. That's what the midday show is certainly all about. That's what we hope we're about every single day hit Trader TV Live. I obviously want to thank Michael Noss this morning, but you know what? The Noss boss is right back. He's going to be doing it once again, maybe talking about that rejection that Bitcoin had of that 70,000 level and how some crypto names certainly fell back in there. So we'll have Sean, we'll have Adara, we'll have Michael Noss back in there. And I still have it. I know I want to thank the super chat that we got and acknowledge it. I want to appreciate, was it, Mr. Westermeyer. I still haven't gotten whatever you've sent me, but thank you for the super chat. I'll keep checking to see if I get something from you via email. But shout out to all of our viewers. We appreciate you. We just ask you hit the like and subscribe. We love the super chats and we appreciate them. But hit the like, hit the subscribe. But don't go anywhere because it is time for the market recap show. We've got Sean Adara. We've got some trade review, market review, and we have Michael Noss joining us. So let's go over to the desk and get your market recap on.
All right, I'm just logging in right now, so thank you everybody for joining one more time here today as we're going to get some earnings coming through. Hey, Adara, how are you?
I'm good. How are you today?
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
All right, I'm doing pretty good. Right now, how are you? Coming in one more time. Having fun, man. It's my show. I'll cry if I want to. All right, you know, it's my party and I'll cry
if I want to. Cry
There we
if
go.
I
All right,
want
karaoke moment right now. Welcome to the show. We're going to have Michael Noss on. It's going to be a big one. We're waiting for some earnings. So there's a couple names that are coming through. If anything hits on the wire that we feel is significant enough, Adara will blast that over here and we'll have that. We had a little bit of slow earnings. We're waiting for Tilray, I thought, maybe potentially here if that can come out.
There's no ETA, so.
No ETA on Tilray. So that's a good one there. As we get today, we had KRE with a downside move here as regional banks start to come back in just a little bit. We did have the QQQQs coming out today with the NASDAQ. Bless you. NASDAQ holding right now 0.18. Just in case you're joining me and Adara for the first time, this show will end officially today at 4:30. I mean, Neil talked about dad life. We're going from rate to here, rate to practice again.
Dad life.
It does not stop once you make that commitment. That is for sure. But I like it. I was actually talking with my cousin today, and he's the same way. He's like doing this with his kids. And the minute you have more than one kid, it's disastrous for planning because unless they're like the same age or like
they have the same activities.
Yeah, then that's fine.
Yeah.
But it's like, wow, when like my daughter's doing hockey, my kid does golf, chess, and it's like every single day it's something different. But welcome to the Market Recap Show. Let's get back on pace right now as we look at some of the moves today. It was actually very few green names today. We had XLU, some of the utilities upside there as we had a nice move there. I'm into XLE. I'm going to take this out of my ear. There's not much happening for me right now. Oil, USO. Let me have a quick check to see what oil did. Oil today down. So it looks like the services sector will be up with utilities, but USO down right here. And it's nice to see, man, as we come into summer months right now, oil pushing into the 200 period moving average there at 74.50 for USO. Adair made some notes for me today on some of the movements that were happening in and around today. So we'll get to that in just a second. Uranium with some downside push. And again, Michael's going to be here talking all about this. And we've talked about do not buy names. And look, this is not to point the gun at Michael or at anybody else. We had talked about uranium breaking out here. Well, when it doesn't and you get that top, there are indicators on where you would want to get out. Look at 50-day moving averages. Looking at this starting to turn down right now. Look at the 200 not holding, right? So as you come in, are you buying names on support or not? I mean, right here, uranium comes into $27. Maybe this is an area that you want to buy, but you never want to trade something without an out, right? And so I feel like if you're looking to go long right now, use some of these bottom wicks maybe. There goes uranium to the downside. And by the way, I don't know if we fixed it or not. We'll talk to Michael, but you can scan, not that. That's to get our watch list. But we do have Trader TV 20 and or Trader TV 30 sometimes activated there to get this Trade Ideas platform, which I really like. I did want to ask Michael, I know he's in the green room right now, maybe he can look at SoFi. SoFi has been a big name here. They're going to report tomorrow morning, so we'll get Michael's take on how the SoFi chart looks. And as we know, he was with us earlier this morning, and earnings release dates not super key for him, but trading around them will be for him and for all of us. So let's find out here what SoFi looks like. I don't know, man, kind of stuck in the middle. We'll wait to hear what Michael's opinion is on that one today. As I look at some of the indexes, there really isn't a whole bunch to love today. The XLK again, a big tech sector spot here, downside. The SPY with the S&P 500 barely holds on to green today.
We have Tilray.
We do have Tilray out right now. Tell me if that report is hot fire or what. Let me hold on a second here. This is the weekly for Tilray. I mean, looks absolutely disgusting. Let me just go over to a 1 minute chart and see if it's getting any, Adara, little bit of movement up there to the upside. Let me see what a live quote looks like for Tilray right now. It's climbing, 191, trying to go upside there for Tilray. So a live quote looks like 191 by 192 with not a whole heck of volume going through right now. So Tilray is either out or it isn't. Adara will get that.
They are out.
Okay, you want to go?
They beat for revenue here, $229.882 million. So $229.8 million in revenue. Analysts are looking for $225.6 million in revenue. So that is going to be a beat. It's also apparently record financial results for Tilray. They achieved 26% net revenue growth. So great revenue for Tilray, though they did miss a little bit on earnings per share. They reported a 4-cent loss per share. Analysts were looking for a 2-cent loss per share. So slightly larger than expected loss per share, but nice revenue beat there for Tilray.
Oh boy, big mention there to Obi for covering. Thank you, Obi, for doing all that. We're away next week as well, so Obi will be back in the building next week as well for us. But there's Tilray, yeah, looking on the daily chart, looking to take down 199, $2 right there. We hit 197, so there's the $2 break. We'll see if that can get going. And let me just take our trusted Trader TV 20 and our short float here on Trade Ideas for Tilray is 14.4%. So you could get some float there. And I do want to thank Michael and everybody else that comes on the show. Days to cover was something that we've talked about before, is very important. Right here on the dashboard, 6.5 for days to cover this short. So we'll see if it can get going, and that's something that can continue through. And here we go, a little bit of an expanded look now. ARC upside, gold upside. So here we go for gold. Again, we talked about that one possibly breaking out as well with GDX. Of course, that is the gold miners. GLD, I believe, is actually on, came back. Okay, so it came back a little bit there, hitting the 50 period, coming back in, looking to get a little bit of gold exposure. We have can't keep talking about this, but Michael talked about this last week. Seems like everything just goes back to what we've been talking about. XLV, and again, those of us worried a little bit about Eli Lilly, I like this. I like the play here in XLV. The largest holding is Eli Lilly, but as you can see here on a daily, it's holding up. Why? Because you have AbbVie in here, which is at its high. Look at the exposure, right? The difference. You don't need to be in everything, Eli Lilly, to have exposure to this sector, especially with AI changing the game. I feel like, look, Ozempic, Wegovy, I know all these names. We have Hims and Hers being investigated today as well. Let me check out what did Hims wind up doing today. This was a name, okay, a little bit back in there, but it looks like it battled back, only down 0.2. But they had a call there on an oral take for that drug. I think that could be a game changer if and when that does come out.
VKTX is another one to watch with regards. VKTX, Viking Therapeutics.
Viking.
They're another one to keep an eye on in that space. Also, Hims, Lilly, and Novo all report next week.
Good, so we'll look for that. And just to look at the stark difference between Eli Lilly, right? So there's the fade back in for this name. So trying to get exposure in the sector, I would say you'd want to look for a sector-related ETF, XBI, and XLV. Is XBI is the biotech one, right? Yeah, I just don't want to tell everybody the wrong thing there. So both of these ETFs near the highs, as you can see some stocks pulling back down again. This is the one here, sector consumer discretionary, XLY. Looks like they're going to lead the way today. And consumer discretionary, guess what's big into that one? Me and Adair have talked about this before. It's Tesla into XLY. So that was a nice move up off of earnings as well coming through. I do want to thank everybody for watching us one more time here today. Over 2,600 on a little sleepy Monday. We'll take that one, and we'll thank everybody for watching us once again. Michael, also maybe PayPal on people's minds as that comes through tomorrow. Look, do I like PayPal? Yes, I do. But why I like PayPal is kind of like how we have the management of Stripe coming through. They're going to IPO. We have Square as well. There just seems to be a lot of competition in the digital payment space right now. So I'm not sure what PayPal is going to report. I feel like the story's already out for PayPal. I'd like to see more collaboration there and maybe an investor, sort of a stake there like we had with Starbucks. Someone getting aggressive, trying to look at PayPal. We'll see if there's anything there. Blame the management and let's get Starboard or some activism happening right there as well. You've been buying stocks lately, or you have someone managing?
Yeah,
your stuff,
I have a financial manager. Also, PayPal. Yeah, I always remember when PayPal shocked the world with that big move down on that.
And there was nothing.
Shocked the world. Yeah, they said they shocked the world, and they ended up shocking the world to the downside. Also, some people wanted to hear about the Symbotic earnings in the chat, so I can give you guys those quickly. They did beat here for revenue, actually quite nicely for Q3 revenue, 491.86 million versus the estimate of 464.5 million. So 491.8 versus estimate $464.5 million here for revenue. They did, though, have lower than expected pre-tax profit. We're talking negative 13.5 million versus the estimate of positive 11 million. So a bit of an EPS miss here, it sounds like, and a beat on revenue for SYM.
Why don't we go over one more time when you can, just a rough outline here for Tilray, because Tilray's up 13% and really starting to go. So there are a lot of people asking us about Tilray. So there goes Tilray up to 206. Just before I throw it back to Miss A over there, we are taking out $2. So we are starting to climb back up. A great hold, to be honest with you, of the 50-period moving average. It didn't really break. I mean, it broke it, but you're talking about pennies. So a nice little hold down there. Looking pretty good on Tilray. Bottoming out at 164, taking out 206 now and going to the upside. So what are we talking about with Tilray there, Adara?
Yeah, so Tilray, we're talking about a miss here on earnings per share. They lost 4 cents per share. Analysts were looking for a loss of 2 cents per share. However, their revenue was quite the beat here. This was actually apparently their record financial results for Tilray, according to management. They achieved 26% net revenue growth. They did report revenue here of $229.8 million. Analysts were looking for revenue of $225.65 million. So 225 estimate, 229.8 was what we actually got reported here. They also apparently reduced their net convertible debt by about $300 million in fiscal 2024. So debt reduction, revenue beat, EPS miss, guys.
So there's a little bit of an update there on that as Tilray working. So, you know, checks notes. I'm still down like 95% or something on that stock as that's been absolutely beat up. It's funny, but it's not really. Okay, come over to the screen quickly and then we'll call on Michael. So let's just do a little recap of what stocks we're moving around today. Anything in gray here is going to be pretty flat. Microsoft and Apple, pretty flat today. Meta putting up zeros, actually. Talking about getting flat. That is exactly what that was. The strength in the communication sector and technology space is going to be with Google today. Both the NASDAQ and the S&P drifted lower on Monday, despite catching a little bit of a bid, but they sort of drifted there into the close, lowering near the afternoon lows for both indexes there. This week is going to be shaping up, obviously, for a massive move because we do have some of the bigger traders, some of the bigger names coming through this week as we wait for Microsoft and Meta and Amazon, so on and so forth. Apple coming through. We'll wait for those. Walmart and Costco getting hit there today for the retail trade, as well as Amazon, all relatively flat. Home Depot catches a bid, up 0.6%. Some of the banking sectors, BAC, there was some talk about this earlier on the show, again with Michael. BAC down that 1.39%, could pick up some strength maybe if the banking sector gets going. BAC with not a bad report, but has been faded off of that. I still like JP Morgan. There's our Eli Lilly, J&J, as they continue to work through issues. That was another downside move. But the big Mag 7 companies coming through, Microsoft, Meta, Amazon, and Apple. Then we have ARM. Oh my. That ARM trade today, honestly, man, I kind of got to do a little patting on the back on that one because we did get right up there to 150. And, you know, when we see that, honestly, we did the work on ARM. We really liked 150. I wasn't here on Friday, but I can see this level. And that was 150 right there. ARM ripped up to the upside, and then boom, that's $8 down there at 142. And it finally breaks the 50-period moving average, and we wind up getting out up there. The 50-period was not there at the time, but there it was, a nice out at 142 for ARM as they come with a report later on in the week. I'm not going to make him wait any longer. It's Michael Nas. Let's go. It's Trader Talk. Michael, over 2,400 watching, and it can't be for me or Adair. It has to be for you. So welcome on the show again, my friend. And it's your second time today, and it can't be enough. Welcome back. Glad to have you. Anything pique your interest today, either in the broader market or individual stock specific, or any ideas that maybe you want to touch on that you might have come up with throughout today's trade?
Yeah, I love days like this as a relative strength guy. People, someone who wants to buy stuff that's holding up very well and then, get rid of stuff or even short stuff that's not holding up very well. And it was really interesting to see on my screen here. This scan up here is actually my up sector scan, and you can see there's not many. Everything was bleeding. If I go over to the down sectors here, everything's really, really red. So again, for me, as someone who's looking for relative strength, I absolutely love it. So I came here this morning and I talked about some of these post-earnings plays. Bank of America, you already mentioned. I talked about one. But when I noticed that the XLF was actually holding up pretty strong today, even though it was negative, it wasn't down very much, I went to take a look and I saw this Capital One Financial, and it has this massive area at about 150, sold off a little bit off the open and then came back up to that level. So full disclosure, I'm in a little bit of this name already from another algorithm kind of trade that I have, but I'm really looking at this 150 area. If we get above there, I might add and get into a full position.
Did anything show up on your scanners there about this name, Charles Schwab, SCHW? Because this was a name, and I did not pull the trigger on this, but we had talked about this earlier, and I think it was with Brian last week. It might have been with yourself, but I'm always looking at these kind of levels where we break through the 200 period on a name that I like, and then we start to find some kind of past levels that had worked. I feel like here on Charles, and mind my voice, I apologize. A lot of screaming and yelling and excitement this weekend. But was $61 there for Charles Schwab. Was this something that you looked at? I know you like to buy strength, and this name not necessarily strong as we try to hold off this 200 period right here. But tell me if you like this name, maybe breaking through this level of $66, or are we still in a wait and see here on Charles Schwab?
Well, you mentioned, right? I like to buy the strongest stuff. I don't want to necessarily get in something like this that's gotten more hammered than the rest. But I did draw an anchored VWAP from this really major 2023 low, and that's right where it stopped. So it could be some institutional accumulation going on there. But then I look at some of the bigger banks. It's going to be a different area because it's banks versus brokers, but all in the semi space. Then I look at something like Bank of America with its solid uptrend. And that makes me a little bit more interesting. If I'm looking at Schwab, I'm always looking at interactive brokers as well because they're more akin to each other in this kind of discount type broker space. And I look at a chart like IBKR, and this just makes me way more interested in buying something like this than something that you see in Schwab, where Schwab had that earnings and absolutely got killed. It looks like interactive brokers is actually doing okay here. So I like to buy strength, but we do have that AVWAP support on Schwab that could be a good place to take a shot anyway.
Yeah, I hear also TH, and I know this doesn't bother too many of us, but he's saying that there's some rumors there about Schwab. So yeah, sometimes when you're 100% right, Michael, I think that's how you could sniff things out, right? I mean, if a stock's not performing well, there's always reasons behind it. Here's IBKR. I know you were just looking at that one. So I had marked down Mara today. This is a name that you and I always talk about. Here's that infamous $23 level. I loved this level. This was a name that I had written down today on my, actually wasn't on the sticky note. It was a late amendment to it, but cash cow right there. I really liked Mara breaking through. We had written it down on here. If we did break that 23 level, I really like that as strength in crypto. We felt like was here earlier, but all day basically Mara. Is it Mara or Mara? I think it's Marathon. We talked about this Mara.
Well, we call it Mara. I don't know.
What do you call it, Michael? Mara or Mara?
I always say Mara, but it makes more sense as Mara.
It's like Marathon Digital. Yeah, I know. That's me and Neil went back and forth about that. But look at it get faded all day. And I just think as a CMT, maybe you can address this as well because I really liked this level here. And I feel like, and I think I'm right, to be honest with you, if crypto kept going and took 70,000, this was a name that is levered, obviously, to that kind of a move. 26% short float. So if crypto is going to dance to the downside, then yeah, this is going to fall a little bit. Did you like that breakout trade there at 23 if it kept going? Anything on your radar here? I know you and I have often talked about Coinbase. We continuously talk about that one. But I find like these trades, Michael, are so tough right now because they're just following BTC. And BTC, and I saw this on your Twitter and stuff that you've been talking about, tends to move over the weekend. And we can't be in stocks over the weekend. So what do you think about Coinbase and Mara? Is there a trade here?
The thing about Mara, there was actually a report I was reading, I believe this morning, and they're actually going to start hodling Bitcoin. They're taking a key from MicroStrategy, where no one really knows what MicroStrategy does, except it owns a lot of Bitcoin. And generally speaking, when you're mining Bitcoin, when you're mining any sort of crypto, you take that and you turn it into cash at a regular interval, or almost some of them do it immediately in order to make that money. Mars actually did a little report, and they said they have a little bit of cash. They have, like, you can see on my screen here, it's actually 1.5 billion. We always have the fundamental data for you guys on the top of the screen. So they said, okay, we have cash. We have 1.5 billion in cash. Let's actually hold a lot of Bitcoin. So what you're going to get is you're going to get Mara move way closer to crypto than even it was before. So I agree that it's going to be a levered up play with that 26% short float. Really makes me think that we should take a look at that. But another report I was reading, again, this is one of the benefit of being a swing trader, is you have a lot of time to research, and you don't really need to be trading that often, but was talking about the commitment of traders data. And essentially what that is that you have to declare when you're trading futures, whether you're long, short, if you're over a certain size. And a lot of the large names, the smart people out there that have a lot of money at their disposal are starting to short Bitcoin futures. So there may be a little bit more messiness going on than we think. I love the chart when it comes to Bitcoin. I love the chart when it comes to Mara. I just don't think it's going to make the breakout that easy for people anymore.
Hi, Michael. Thank you so much for being here with us today. We actually had a question for you from Rob EV in the chat, wanting to know what you think of Spotify, SPOT, saying that they had a good earnings reaction a week ago and then pulled back to support at 320. So I guess what are your thoughts on Spotify, if you have any right now?
Absolutely. And yeah, you can see I already have it marked up on my charts here because this is one of my favorite types of trades. So this line that I have, this is just something you can do in trade ideas. You set a price alert and you can go about your day and it will flash in your face when the price is hit. And I have that at 330. And the reason I have it there is just this recent high that we had. Sellers came in and rejected this 330 high very, very strongly, pulled into earnings, but you're right, had a positive earnings beat and a nice push because of earnings, and now 2 days of trading under that. So I'm watching this. My trade on this, I think, is going to be pretty simple. If we can reclaim and close, get a daily close above that 330, that's where I want to get involved, and my stop's going to go under wherever the swing low is at that time. I love the look of it. It's, if you look here, this is a weekly chart, zoomed out a bit, just an amazing trend, very, very strong, good revenue, lots of cash on hand, everything that you want to see. So yeah, I like the fact that we undercut that prior, shows that there's still some selling going on in this area. So I'm just going to look for that guy to be done or to step aside, and I'm going to get involved over that 330 area.
All right, good little talk there. Thanks to Derek for that question. Thank you, everybody in the chat. And thanks to Michael for that as well. All right, we're into earnings season right now. Big name on everyone's mind. I think it's because it's a little cheapy one here. It's SoFi, right? SoFi coming through. They did have an EPS positive report last time. Still looking for a negative EPS quarter over quarter, year over year. But we'll see right here. Earnings per share looking positive. Obviously, we're not going to talk too much about what those numbers look like. We're just going to talk about the chart here. But I don't know, man. I mean, it still doesn't look pretty good. We could draw lines all over this, but, still coming in, looks like into a wedge. Maybe a little bit of a flag pattern here, but I'm not sure. What do you see on SoFi? I still think we can retrace back into $6. It's not looking overly healthy to me, but there's a lot of traders that are piling into this name. It's a big sort of Reddit name as well, Michael. This could move tomorrow. Short float of 19%. What do you think?
There's for what I do, and in my opinion, there's better places to go than a place like SoFi. I get it. It's a new technology. It's decently shorted. And for some reason, people like to gravitate to these lower price stocks. But if you just look at the chart that I brought up here, that it's just stuck in a range and inside a range, right? You have this more larger range from kind of $10 to wherever this low is, probably 5 something. And then inside that, you're stuck within another range right here. If this thing's ever going to get and challenge its IPO high, it's going to have to get through this $10, which seems to be a kind of massive level of resistance. Now, between where we are and $10, that's 30-ish% gain. So if you're looking to trade that, then maybe that's a good trade to have. But you mentioned, I'm not one for the fundamental stuff, but you mentioned that they're expecting negative earnings. And there's one thing that we really need to have learned by now, in my opinion, when it comes to trading stocks in this particular market where interest rates as they are. If you're not making money, you're just going to get killed, and you're going to continue to get killed until you can turn that around. We've seen that with the meme stocks and the high flyers like Peloton and all this. When you can get 5% on your money, absolutely risk free, you need your company to return something. So either they have to be growing dramatically or they need to be making money. So technically, doesn't look interesting to me. If it was me, I would set alert around $10. If it ever gets to that $10, that maybe that's where you start to get involved and get interested in it.
All right, want to have some fun, Michael?
Sure.
Always, right? We're on the show. McDonald's today up 3.79%. I just tweeted this out right here from Carbon Finance. Thanks to Adara for this one as well. Still the king in market capitalization is McDonald's. Pick one here, Michael. When next time you're coming to Toronto, where am I taking you out? Okay, we got McDonald's. Please say McDonald's. I mean, it's pretty cheap to get that value meal. We got McDonald's. Give me a choice here if you wanted like a little light snack. Well, some of these are maybe meals. McDonald's, Starbucks, Chipotle, Yum Brands, little KFC, little RBI there, of course, Tim Hortons, Domino's, Kava. I never had Kava. Yeah, you had Kava? You ever been in the States and had some Kava there? Those Mediterranean bowls? What did I skip? Texas? What is this? Texas Roadhouse right there? I don't know. What is this? What is this? DRI there. Oh, that's Darden. So Olive Garden.
Domino's.
Give me a pick here.
I have a bit of a policy that when I'm traveling, which I travel a lot to speak at different shows and talk about charts and markets and all that, I go to McDonald's. As a travel food, I know what I'm going to get. I know what the menu's like. I don't. Now, if we're going somewhere fancy, if you're paying, then I'm making you.
Wingstop. I'll pay Wingstop. You know, wings are a little expensive nowadays. Price of poultry going up. Plus, Ramin loves Wingstop. Therefore, if we have any like extras, we can bring them back and stuff like that. So we always want to keep them happy. Are you coming back here anytime soon? I know your family's relatively young, so maybe not anytime soon. But are there anything in your plans?
As soon as I can get there and not have the wife murder me for leaving 2 children. But speaking of McDonald's, I like this chart.
Okay.
I got to say, I've been looking at it. I drew you have to draw kind of the golden arches here. That's probably a played out meme on this one. Everyone was looking at this as a giant top. I love companies that it looks like there's a massive top being formed and that ends up not being true. I think you've got a big area of support right here, and then you had this little tight base that it's been playing for, between 250 and 260 for a while. We broke that today, and on a tape that was actually pretty ugly, we ended up holding that as well. So I look at it as, what else do you need? If it breaks above and it can hold above 260 for any length of time, I'm actually going to buy some with my stop under this major 250 area and go from there. I think it's a good trade on again, a solid company that if this top is not a top and we end up getting to those highs and breaking out, that's $300. So you're buying it at you're risking $10 to make 40, 50 or even more.
Speaking my language. McDonald's, good call on that one. We'll definitely get together. When next time you're in town, say hi to the family for us. That's Michael Noss. Thank you so much for coming through one more time. I could talk to you forever, but it's 4:30, and I also got a scram for Adara as well. Michael, thank you so much for everything that you contribute to the show. Trader TV 20 and or 30. Try both, whatever one works. You can get that over there at Trade Ideas. It's Michael Noss. Have a splendid week, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you, Michael.
Talk to you soon, guys. Have a good one.
It's Trader Talk. All righty then. All right, so just real quickly as we go, we're going to do this real quick. It's roll call. So get into the chat immediately if you want me to shout you out. And I'll just, while you guys get in there, let me just quickly show you the sticky note today. I thought like it was pretty good, man. Our number one trade was the Tesla long. So we had that, the Nvidia long at 111. That's where it ends the day. We'll pick on that tomorrow and figure out if that happens. 255 on Coinbase was the top, just like Mara 23 was the top. So if you went the other way, and then this one, you want to talk about the 2 biggest trades today on the show. ARM short, $7. Tesla long, $4. They're $5. They're both right here. There's the Tesla long. There's the ARM fade. Everything else didn't even hit. Disney 92 short. We didn't get that. We did talk about it. But just to go over a quick review, this is that ARM short. 150. I mean, came in, we took it, man. And there it is right there. I think we took it twice. There it is right there. Nice move down into 142, so that was a big one. And then this one, I was TSLA, was a little bit more nervous on Tesla because it already ran Adara $4, $5, $6 into this trade. So there it goes, but it's still at the end of the day, breaks that 228. Most of our outs are for $1, $2. As you can see into here, these are 229 fills, all these top ones right there. It's a 228 breaker. There it is right there, out on the 50-period moving average, which gave us, I wasn't here, gave us that reload down there at 228 again, which tend to work out. Let's go roll call. Who's here? Who's not? It's our friend, the Piper. He says thank you to Adara as well. So thank you, Adara. Shadera stays late, but I'm only late until Wednesday this week. So I go Monday, Tuesday. Neil goes Wednesday, Thursday, Friday this week, I believe. Maybe I'm Friday. Oh, no. I think I'm this Friday with
you swapped last
guess who?
Raider Trader.
We're introducing Raider Trader.
So
I told my guy, I was like, look, Raider Trader, the people want you. Ramin's not here Friday. Fail? I don't know. Oh, too bad, Ramin. We're ordering in Wingstop on Friday. That's too bad. Sorry about that. No, just joking. We're not. We're going. Oh, we're trying to go get brisket on one of the days. So we'll talk about that. You guys will be on the midday show. I'll talk to you. What is brisket? I have too much. We'll have to address this afterwards. What's up to Zion Lala, baller, stock caller? I like that. Sebastian, Ricky Peters, as well. Enchantress Wonderland. Hey, I haven't seen you before. Shout out to the philanthropist Baker coming through. Jam Losi is here. The real tech geek is here as well. Derek Thompson, Aldrin, Alt Styles, Ricky Peters, Be Free. All right, that's enough. Thank you so much, Adara. I like that jacket. Looking
Thank
sharp
you.
here today. Thank you to everybody. Thanks, Ramin, for staying late. And thank you to everybody as part of the show. Sharif, Neil, Obi. I think I got everybody. Brendo. Fabian, I think I might have done that already.
You might have mentioned him.
Thanks to Michael Noss
Ramin.
as well. I did say Ramin. Yeah, everyone knows I said Ramin. Don't get me. You're trying to get me in trouble. I see what
No,
you're trying
I'm
to do.
not.
All
I
right.
didn't make a
Thanks to
sound.
everybody for joining. All of you. We'll be back tomorrow at 8:30. Can we stop waving? Yes, we can.
Can we?
Until then, ciao from Trader TV Live. Trader TV, Sean and Dara. Check us out later. See ya.
Peace.